Coming the first Saturday of May, the Run for the Roses, the Kentucky Derby.
Take the family out.
Hey, let's go. 1, 2, 3, go.
A monstrous win for the Philadelphia Soul.
For 2 straight years, the Rush have fallen 1 game shy of the Arena Bowl. Now they're fighting just to be able to keep that dream alive. This year, the Soul adopted the motto, time to win. And with a playoff berth in question, the time is now. For the top-rated Desperados, the road to the playoffs have been a success. But their division rivals have won the East 3 straight years, and they're not ready to relinquish that title just yet. Dallas, New York, Chicago, Philadelphia. It's week 11 of the AFL on NBC. Hi, everybody. Al Trowig along with Glenn Parker and you, Douglas. And basically the question is simple. If you are the man making the money, can you deliver? That question had a harsh answer this week in New York. In baseball, opening day, this is Carlos Beltran, a $100 million man. He doesn't come through, and the New York Mets fans think that he should, and he gets booed on opening day.
Only in New York will the rest of your season be determined on the first time you play a game.
I think you may be right, but now we go to Philadelphia, where Tony Graziani has been the man who's been given the money. Now the Soul are 5-5. It's time to put up and win the game. Do you not think?
I think it is, but both of these teams, we're talking Chicago is in that same position as Philly is. So if it's time for Graziani to win, it is time for Mike Hohensee. It's time for Matt DeRozio. It's time for Chicago to win, too. Both these teams are on the bubble, and this bubble is about to burst for one of these 2 teams if they don't get it together.
Well, see, I don't believe that because
the
question is how much is too much. This man has went out and got a ton of money to play football. He's doing a good job. He just needs some help. They went out and spent a ton of money on defense. These guys just have to get it together.
They are out of balance and they're out of rhythm, and I think both them and Chicago are at the same point. They're up down 1 week, down the next week. There's no rhythm for either of these teams. The team that finds its rhythm early wins this game.
And now you've got the Dallas situation. Everybody's talking about them like they're an elite team in the league. They're going up against a team, the New York Dragons, which don't feel like an elite team. Once you go to your backup quarterback in the AFL, I don't think you're elite anymore. It's time for Dallas to put up or shut up.
Dallas has already put up and shut up, made everybody shut up by putting up all year long. They brought in Clint Dazelle. Will McClay had a very good team last year, a lot of defense, and all they've done is gone out and gone 8-2 in a tough division, a tough conference. They are the real deal this year. They have all the pieces in place, and once Shelley, if he does get healthy, the wide receiver Shelley gets healthy, they're going to be really something to deal with. No?
Well,
he's not answering me.
I would like to say this. No man is an island. Tony Graziani can't get it done by himself.
All right, we will see you at halftime. Now out to New York and Philadelphia for the game in your area. This is the Subway AFL on NBC.
Come on, feel the thunder, there's a rumble in the house.
To win the Arena Bowl, first you've got to make the playoffs. No sure thing for the Chicago Rush and the Philadelphia Soul, adding urgency to this game that kicks off in moments here at Wachovia Center in Philadelphia. Philadelphia head coach Brett Muncy tried to fire his team up a moment ago.
Playing as hard as you can. And when you come in here at the end of the game, don't go back in your mind and say, I wish I'd have done this play different. Or I wish I'd have played a little harder today. That's all I ask as the coach, all right? Leave it on the football field, and I promise you, this team will be victorious at the end of the game. All right? Now let's bring it up, guys. Have a good one.
Well, we'll try and leave it all in the booth today as well. Alan Bestwick, Ray Bentley, thanks for joining us for the AFL on NBC. Both of these teams can make the playoffs. They've just got to win some ball games between now and the end of the regular season, 6 weeks away. And Ray, for Philadelphia, it's been inconsistency on offense that's been their problem, and they've made some changes to try and help that.
Right, the big thing is they haven't been able to wing it into the end zone. The touchdown passes are way down, and that starts with quarterback Tony Graziani. Look at the numbers of touchdown passes the past few years. 32 so far this year. That'll work out to about 50 by the end of the year if he stays on that pace, and that's not near enough. The problem is they like to run the ball a little more, and they haven't had a deep vertical threat. Well, they do now. Picking up Steve Smith in a trade 3 weeks ago. You see his numbers from last season with Philadelphia, and he's the guy that Graziani hopes can stretch defenses and get those touchdown pass numbers back up to where they usually are.
As for Chicago, the middle part of their season has just been injury decimated, but they get a couple of very important players back on the field today.
They really do. They get 2 of their top pass protectors back in DJ Blythe and John Moyer. Now, Moyer is an all-around type player, one of the tops in the Arena Football League, and also the spark and soul of this football team. He's a big addition coming back into the lineup. Also today, we'll get to see Woody Dantzler make his Arena Football League debut. You may remember him as a double threat quarterback back at Clemson. He's going to play wide receiver, defensive back today for quarterback Matt DeRazio. But DeRazio won't go the whole distance. Michael Bishop will get some shots today to go in there and get a chance to play some quarterback. Last year, set an AFL rushing record for the season, 459 yards. He is something that defenses have to account for. It should be interesting when he gets in the game.
Yeah, and here's another little interesting thing to watch for today. A former Chicago team captain cut Monday who'll play for Philadelphia today. Otis Livingston spoke with Cornelius White just a minute ago.
Thanks a lot, guys. Cornelius, I guess it's a tale of two playbooks. Last week you had Chicago's, this week it's Philadelphia. How strange is it to be going up against your former team the very next week?
Oh, man, it's a shock, actually. You know, nobody saw it coming. But, you know, Coach had to do what was best for his team, and if that's the best move to make, you know, I'm trying my best to play well for the soul and make them play.
You're a Northeast Philly guy, so it's great for you to come back home, but you also told me that you looked at the schedule. You saw Chicago was up next. What does it mean to you to go out and play well against them today?
Oh, man, you know, just like anybody else would. You know, you want to make Coach think about it. You know, what reason did he let you go, and was that the smart decision to make? You know, hopefully today I can make some plays and really make him think about that on a long flight back.
All right, best of luck to you today. Back to you guys upstairs.
I like that. Make him think about it on the long flight back, huh?
Well, I know Cornelius White's been thinking about nothing but that since he got the call to come into the office on Monday and bring his playbook with him.
Well, Philadelphia will get first possession at the ball. Chicago to kick off. Chicago in the road white uniforms with the blue trim. Keith Gisbert is their kicker. Chicago did win the toss, but deferred to the second half. Ball high off the net. Kevin Gaines takes it just outside his own goal line. And he'll be wrapped up there by Dewan Alfonso, among others, for the Chicago Rush. Now look at our Netscape starting lineups, beginning with the Philadelphia Soul offense. Talked about the quarterback, Tony Graziani, has an outstanding reputation as one of the league's most productive over the last few years, but this year hasn't quite been what he's needed to have.
Yeah, it's been a kind of an interesting year, adapting to a new offense. Jim Kubiak, the offensive coordinator, and then the receivers have kind of been juggled a little bit throughout the season.
Starts at his own 10. That's Smith on the near side. A spin move away. Then he's brought down by Dewan Alfonso at the 20-yard line, very close to first down yardage. There are the receivers and the running backs for the Philadelphia Soul.
And that guy right there, Rob Milanese, is getting his chance today to come out and start the ball game. And, you know, when you read between the lines, they're looking for some kind of production out of Milanese, or they might have to go another direction. So they're putting him in here today, and they're going to see what he can do.
And a front three that's been very stingy as far as giving up sacks is concerned this year. Inside handoff, Wes Hours, the fullback, number 40, has about 4 yards. And that is just shy of the midfield stripe, and a fresh set of downs for the Soul. Check that. They gave him the first down on the last one. This will be second down and 6. My bad. Here's the Chicago defense.
Boy, and you put John Moyer and Cream Smith as bookends, as pass rushers, and that's about as good as it gets in the Arena Football League.
Yeah. And the defensive backfield, Jeremy Unerdl. He's been just a force.
He got picked up in a trade earlier, and he has been nothing but outstanding since he's come to Chicago and really filled the hole in the middle of their secondary.
Flags, movement early on a hard count by Tony Graziani, the Philadelphia quarterback.
Offsides, 58, defense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Green Smith for the Chicago Rush.
Smith trying to time up the motion and get a little head start. Anybody who knows anything about pass rushing will tell you the number one thing is get off. Get off on that snap, get upfield, and really put that blocker in a tough situation as quickly as possible.
Penalty moves the ball into Chicago territory at the 21-yard line. Another handoff. Wes Hours with a plunge over right tackle. Good enough for first down yardage, and takes the ball to the Chicago 17.
Chicago has not done real well against the running game this year. And last week, Orlando just crushed them with the running game as Joe Hamilton ran for a couple of scores, and they just dominated. So Philadelphia saw that film, and they're going to try it themselves, see if they can't push them around a little bit.
John Moyer back in the lineup after missing 5 weeks to injury. Normally one of the biggest. There's a ball knocked loose from Graziani's hands, but he falls on it and recovers. There's the rookie Kareem Smith, with a nice pass rush to knock the ball out.
That's the thing you have to be worried about now that John Moyer is back in the lineup. Now you've got two guys to concern yourself with in terms of matchups. Both of them outstanding outside rushers, and they get after the quarterback, and then when they get there, they both have the awareness to try and knock the ball loose.
Now, Smith is a 26-year-old rookie out of Oklahoma State and a very strong candidate to maybe be the AFL's Rookie of the Year this year.
There at the bottom.
Second down, Graziani throws. There's Milanese wide open, an early touch. Gets down inside the 10-yard line before he's dropped there by Russell Shaw. 16-yard gain for Philadelphia and a first down.
A good read by Tony Graziani. He got a two-deep zone defense with the front side corner playing down short. So there was nobody in that little zone right there in the middle. You're going to see on the left side of your screen. See this defensive back way back off the ball. And that just leaves an opening underneath. Graziani saw it, read it quickly, dumped it underneath, and Milanese gets to run after the catch.
Ball just outside the 6-yard line. First and goal for Philadelphia. Graziani throws, batted down. And incomplete, and it'll bring up second down. Second tip ball for Graziani.
Looked like John Moyer's the one who got the hand on that, and that's another thing that happens often to Graziani, especially down in the red zone, because he's got to throw the ball on a sidearm or a three-quarter type delivery. The ball comes through lower, and that enables defensive linemen to get the hands up and knock it down. And that's the next best thing to get in there, is knocking that ball down.
Second down and goal for Philadelphia. Motion man is Smith. He gets the ball inside the 5, quickly swarmed under. Jeremy Unurdo, 37 for Chicago, among the first to make the stop. And Duan Alfonso as well, number 23. And it'll bring up third down and goal from just inside. I'll make it just outside the 3.
This is where the Philadelphia Soul have struggled a little bit this season in the red zone, in particular last week against Austin. I thought they controlled that game, had an early 21-6 lead, but ended up losing it in the end, in part because they weren't able to punch it in down in this area of the field. They got Sean Scott at running back.
It's one of the wideouts. Scott takes the handoff, tripped up by Duan Alfonso in the backfield, lunges forward, but is stopped just shy of the goal line, and it'll bring up fourth down for Philadelphia.
Now, I think they're going to go for it here in this situation early in the ball game. They have had success running the football down in this area, and they do that, what I call a swap formation. They call it their Patriot formation, where they go ahead and put a receiver in at the fullback spot, and then they use the fullback to be a lead blocker, but that's not the case right now. Wes Owers lined up at the fullback.
Scott in motion. Handoff is to Owers. Trips, pushes forward. Does he get in? Yes. Touchdown, Philadelphia.
Boy, that was just pure effort from Wes Owers, because he was stumbling. There was nothing there. He kept working it outside and ended up getting the ball across into the end zone. Watch Owers take it to the right. Initially, it stopped by Kareem Smith, but then the good push, Ernest Allen, ended up blowing Kareem Smith right off the ball. Watch this block right there. He put Kareem Smith 2 yards deep into the end zone, and that's what enabled Owers to punch it in.
Todd France for the point after try for Philadelphia, number 4. And very true. Down the center. So nice drive by Philadelphia to open the ball game, capped off by the 2-yard stumbling touchdown plunge from Wes Owers.
On NBC.
Well, take a look at this touchdown run. Ernest Allen right there throws the key block. He knocks Kareem Smith back a couple yards into the end zone. A good block outside by Milanese as well, and that's what enabled Wes Owers to punch it in. And we talked about Tony Graziani's touchdown passes early on, just 32 so far this year. But part of the reason is a different philosophy with this year's coach, Brett Muncie. He's more of a power-type football coach. When you get down in that red zone, they love to run the football. That was their 19th touchdown rushing of the season, which is good for 4th in the Arena Football League.
Carlos Wright, number 1, to take the kick off the slack net. No, won't get the chance. Hit the back of the iron, and that'll go for a touchback. Chicago will start from its 5-yard line. Our Netscape starting lineups for the Chicago Rush offense. their quarterback, number 10, Matt DeRazio.
Yeah, Matt DeRazio is coming in. This is actually just his 16th game as a starter in his career. And so he's still got a little bit of youth in him, but he really makes good decisions, I think, in terms of when to run and when to throw. And he is a threat running the football, leads the league in rushing.
See Woody Dantzler in there at receiver. First AFL game for the former Clemson Tiger. 1st and 10 from the 5. DeRazio looking deep downfield. Moulton tangled up with a Philadelphia defensive back, Eddie Moulton, and there are flags.
Yeah, Moulton was getting beat by Atu Molden, and I think he just latched on right there. And
is there a penalty call for mugging?
Number 6, defense, 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah, I think it's a misdemeanor, but here it is. Take a look at it. You see Molden give the little hop move, and now he tries to run by Moulton, and Moulton just said, you know what, he doesn't have the ball yet, but I'll tackle him anyway because he's going to get the ball and go for 6. So not a bad play by Moulton, really.
Yeah.
You're beat like that, and that's the thing that Molden wanted to do, is get Moulton's feet stopped, and he got him stopped that time.
10-yard penalty, not a spot foul in the AFL, so the ball out to the 15-yard line, 1st and 10 for Chicago. DeRazio with time, then he ran out of time and tried a little shovel pass away.
Well, there was no receiver over there, but because he was out of the pocket and he also got the ball to the line of scrimmage, therefore it's not an intentional grounding penalty. Right there you see the pump fake. They tried to send Dantzler deep down the other side. Good coverage, so DeRazio had no choice but to try and, just live to fight another down, which is exactly what he did.
But boy, the way that ball just floats, I'm telling you.
Looked fumbleish.
Yeah. Well, just if Philadelphia guy had been anywhere near that. 2nd and 10. Throw near side. There's Dantzler. Got some running room. Goodbye. Touchdown, Chicago.
His first touch in the Arena Football League is a 35-yard touchdown reception.
That didn't take long.
It was set up nicely. A little pick play, actually. Dantzler was the outside guy. The motion receiver kind of slowed down, and Dantzler cut in behind him on a slant route, and the timing was excellent. Watch DeRazio get this ball out on the 3rd step on a 3-step drop. You see the little pick right there from Molden, and that kept Gaines, the defensive back, from getting across and getting on his coverage, and it cleared the way for Dantzler.
35-yard touchdown catch and run for Woody Dantzler. And now movement on the point after try. Referee today, Terry Brown, already getting a little bit of work, huh?
False start, 55, offense, 5-yard penalty, still a try.
Curtis Eason, one of the linemen. So they'll back him up 5.
And it makes a difference when you're backed up 5 in the Arena Football League, just because those goalposts are only 9 feet wide. So the farther you move back, the more difficult it becomes.
Keith Dispert, the Chicago kicker. And again, some premature activity there on the right side of the line.
I think it was.
This might have come the other way, though, yeah.
So I think it was Chad Dukes that went early.
All sides, number 32, defense, 5-yard penalty, still try.
All right, counting us at the 5th penalty.
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to get this extra point off yet, I promise you. Gispert's like, what's up, man? Let me just kick this thing.
Sounds like a song. Back him up 5, move him up 5.
I want to hear you sing it.
Now, maybe it's something the cheerleaders say. I get confused sometimes, you know?
Maybe not. DJ Burt went early on the other side.
Now, when's the last time you saw a football game with 3 penalties on a point after try?
Not in a while.
You think the guys are a little anxious?
Yeah, I think that's part of the stakes in this ball game. We're still 6 weeks away.
Number 96, defense, penalties declined, still the try.
We're 6 weeks away from the playoffs, but both of these teams, as Glenn Parker said in the pregame show, they're on the bubble, and the bubble's going to pop for one of them. And this is a very important ball game for each team.
Point after try, take 4. And good.
It's good. And with 6:39
after all that.
So after a little bit of laundry has been done, Woody Dantzler on his first touch in the Arena Football League with a 35-yard catch for Matt DeRazio and runs it into the end zone to tie the ball game at 7. The AFL on NBC is brought to you by ADT, America's residential and commercial security leader. By Las Vegas, the best seats for every game, no tickets required. It only happens in one place, only Vegas. And by Aaron's Sales and Lease Ownership. Nobody beats Aaron's, nobody. Well, Guy gets a touchdown on his first AFL reception. He deserves to be featured in a sneak peek brought to you by Bud Light. Let's go to Otis.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Woody Dantzler, 1 catch, 1 touchdown. You made it look easy. Take us through the play and the sneak peek.
Well, basically, I mean, we just had the right call for the right defense. You know, they played man. And I did the easy part. You know, I2 did his. He came across, got in the way. You know, shoot, the Red Sea opened up, so I just had to get to the end zone.
How nice is it for you to be back on the field?
Oh, it's great. It's great. I mean, get out there, get and compete, help the team.
All right, back up to you guys.
Woody Dantzler, all of his teammates spoke so highly of him in our meetings with the Rush yesterday, his head coach as well, and he has made an impact in the game early.
He has. Mike Owens, he told us this is one of the neatest, nicest, humblest guys that he's ever come across in his 20 years of arena football. Matt D'Orazio told us that he would like to have his son grow up to be like Woody Dantzler. That's pretty high praise.
Philadelphia has not run a kickoff back for a touchdown yet this season. Steve Smith tripped up at the 15-yard line. Nice little shoestring grab by Russell Shaw, number 3 for Chicago, but good field position for the Soul. They will start at about the 17-yard line.
And Steve Smith, not only does he bring the added dimension of speed from the offensive specialist position, he's also a heck of a kick return.
Yeah.
So that really just gives another weapon, and it gives a vertical stretch for this Philadelphia offense that they were lacking earlier in the season.
Yeah, the term Tony Graziani used to describe what Steve Smith brings to Philadelphia's offense is fear factor for the defense. Going deep. Mike Brown can't catch up to it.
When Graziani had pressure on him again, I think he let that ball go a little bit sooner than he wanted to, and that means it was overthrown. Take a look at the pressure on Graziani. Steps back, 5-step drop. It was, again, Cream Smith, who already has a sack, got in there first, then Moyer finishes it off. And those two guys coming around the edges, that's pretty tough.
So it's 2nd down and 10 from their own 17-yard line for Philadelphia. That's Smith, the motion man. Graziani looking for him. And it falls incomplete. Russell Shaw defending for Chicago. Talked about both of these teams being on the bubble for the playoffs. The playoff system in the AFL works like this. The division winners plus the next 4 highest ranked teams in each conference qualify for the postseason.
Right, you see this log jam here with all these 6 and 4s and 5 and 5s. It is anything but defined at this point. That's what makes this game so critical for Philadelphia.
3rd down and 10. Graziani overthrows Sean Scott near side, and it's going to bring up a 4th down as the Soul have 3 quick incompletions.
Yeah, and I think you kick right here, but it looks like they're going to go for it. And again, Tony Graziani gets a little bit of pressure on him, and you take a look at Graziani dropping back here. And initially, there's good coverage. He has to step up into the pocket. Usually, the ball should be gone by that point. So credit the defensive secondary of Chicago on that one.
There's Philadelphia coach Brett Muncy, who's decided to go for it on 4th down and 10 from his own 17. Pressure again. Graziani forced out of the pocket, throws downfield. What an adjustment by the receiver, Sean Scott.
Well, and what made that play work, though, was the nimbleness of Tony Graziani, escaping the pressure, getting outside, keeping his presence, and then hooking up with Sean Scott on the back end of that thing. Graziani limping a little bit, but he makes this play. Watch the pressure come in from Moyer up here on the outside. That's where he's able to get the edge and then make that throw, and that's just playing football in the backyard right there. You know, you got a receiver, the timing is disrupted, it's over. Now what do? You got to make a play, and this is the veteran leadership right there of Tony Graziani.
1st and goal from the 1-0 there for Sean Scott on the handoff over left tackle, stuffed by about half the Chicago defense. You know, the thing that I like the most about that play, Graziani saw, I mean, he's running for his life over there to the side. He's got the boards coming up on him, and yet he sees that the Chicago defensive back has his back to him. throws the ball to an empty space on the field where his receiver can turn around and make the adjustment and come back for the ball.
And that's just being a veteran in this league and understanding how things work, and then having the courage to stand in there knowing you're going to take a hit right next to the wall and still deliver the football.
This little timeout for an equipment problem for Russell Shaw for Chicago. Looks like he had to relace up the shoe. So 2nd down and goal from just outside the one. Actually, Philly lost about a half yard on that last run. How about that? 4th down and 10. And get down to the 1. Here's the pitch, near side, touchdown, Chad Dukes.
All right, Crean Smith got hooked again. They've been able to block him consistently down there on the goal line. Take a look right here. That's Donnie Klein, and he's going to get the block on Crean Smith and able to keep him from keeping contained, and that allows Dukes to get that corner. And if your defensive end can't make that play, more often than not, it's going to be a touchdown.
Point after try is good by Todd France. So from 4th and 10 to touchdown in just a couple of plays for the Philadelphia Soul. Chad Dukes with his 5th rushing touchdown of the season. Check that, his 6th. Just added 1 to that total. $14-7 ball game. Philadelphia leading Chicago at Wachovia Center, Philadelphia. Alan Bestwick, Ray Bentley, Otis Livingston with the AFL on NBC. A couple of 4th down conversions by Philadelphia have kept their drives alive and led to scores.
Chad Dukes ran that last one in, and on the previous 4th and 10 play, that Tony Graziani took a shot from Atu Molden. It came up limping. Now he just handed off the next 2 plays, but we'll keep track and see if Graziani's got his full health as we go on.
Carlos right at the back of the end zone off the net. Going to get to about the 7, maybe 7.5 yard line, wrapped up there after a 14-yard run by Reggie Doster for Philadelphia.
Let's go back and take a look at that 4th down play. You're going to see it from the right side of your screen. Atu Molden come in late and hit Graziani into the boards, and it looks a little innocuous there, no big deal. Of course, I'm sitting up here, but you see when Graziani gets up, he's dragging that right leg around a little bit. So we're going to get Otis on it down there and try and get a report and see what the status is of Graziani.
In fact, he has that report for us. We'll get it right after this play.
I love it when that happens.
8-yard line, 1st and 10 for Chicago. Matt DeRazio throws near side, incomplete. Flags are out. That'll be pass interference. And while we await the call, let's get that update on Graziani. Otis?
Yeah, guys, I'm down here on the Soul bench, and I asked Tony if he was okay. He said he was okay, and all he got was a little kick. Seems to be fine. He'll be back in there to play.
All right, you look at the play selection so far, and the screens and runs, 6 out of the 15 plays. And this is a different Philadelphia football team than what they were last year. They really like to run the football and play a power game.
Holding, 21 defense, penalty 10 yards, automatic 1st down.
They feel like the strength of the football team is the line up front, where they added free agents E.J. Burt and Ernest Allen in the offseason, put him in with Dwayne Missouri, and that's about as good as it gets up front. So they take advantage of the strength of their team, and that's another reason why the Graziani touchdowns are down.
Penalty moves the ball out to the 17-yard line. 1st down for Chicago from there. DeRazio throws wide open far side. C.J. Johnson across midfield, wrapped up and then brought down by Eddie Moten, 6, and Cornelius White, number 2 for Philadelphia, 13-yard gain.
Just a little whip route right there by C.J. Johnson, and he just worked himself inside and then broke back outside. In Chicago, the reason that's effective for them, they love to run crossing routes, and that's the toughest route to defend in arena football, is a crossing route, because you're automatically in a trail position as a defensive back. So when you overcompensate for that and they whip it back outside, you're going to be wide open, just like Johnson was.
Spot the ball at the Philadelphia 20. 1st and 10 from there for Chicago. DeRazio trips on his way back, throws from his backside, and throws it into the grandstands for the first souvenir of the day.
Well, he got his foot stepped on and ended up on his backside, and then kept his presence of mind. He actually had a chance to complete that thing. You see right there, he gets his foot stepped on. Now he's down, no one around him. He had a receiver over there. That's pretty close to getting it completed to Atu Molden off of his back. That's pretty good.
He's laying on his back, and he's got all these 6-foot-something guys coming at him with their hands up.
Yeah, it's time to get rid of the football.
Yeah. Kind of feels like my golf game when I'm in the trees, looking for that little space in the opening.
Yeah, I wondered what that was like.
Yeah, I'm sure you know. That's going to do it for the first quarter as time expires. Chicago with the ball in Philadelphia territory, trailing by 7. Back after these messages from your local station.
Tonight, a night of all-new drama on NBC. First, the West Wing election is finally here with a tragic twist.
He died.
Then on a Law & Order Criminal Intent, a murder at the opera. But this doesn't end till the fat lady sings.
What do you have to say about that, Maestro?
And Crossing Jordan, the voices in this man's head will lead them to a killer.
Drop that gun!
All new West Wing, Criminal Intent and Crossing Jordan, tonight on NBC.
Grab your calculators, everybody. It's the Tell Uncle Sam you're in for a big old deduction tax time savings event. At Furniture Row, we think you deserve a break, so we've lowered prices equal to the amount you'd pay in sales tax, and there's no payments and no interest until July 2007. Plus, prices are backed by our 200% guaranteed lowest price pledge. Furniture Row, where you'll find 4 specialty stores all in one location. And right now, special price reductions and pay nothing until July 2007. Furniture Row Shopping Center, centered around you.
Hi, I'm Adele Arakawa. As a parent, I understand the pressure our kids are under. Drugs and alcohol are everywhere. How can we help them? By talking to them. To help you get that conversation started, go to 9news.com and click on Parents Are the Power. Find everything from sample conversations to prevention, intervention, and treatment. As parents, we have the power. Exercise that power today. Visit 9news.com and click on Parents Are the Power.
Bet I've got a lower cholesterol rate, 192.
145. Resting heart rate?
60. And you?
64. Blood pressure?
118 over 79.
Not bad, not bad.
Down from last year.
So you gonna go to the 9 Health Fair?
Oh, sure. 5 years straight.
6 years for me. Well, I gotta run.
Don't start with me. You know I'm not running.
Come to the 9 Health Fair April 22nd through the 30th. 9 News, voted Station of the Year for the 7th year in a row.
Back at Wachovia Center, Philadelphia, where the Chicago Rush had, I thought maybe we're going to see Michael Bishop for the first time. They had him on the field with his helmet on.
And he is an incredible talent, that's for sure. Michael Bishop, we've been told by Coach Hohensee that he will get in the game. Now, this is from a game last year when Bishop played for the Rampage. Warming up before the game, he throws the ball from the goal line over the nets. Now that's 58 yards to the net, and he landed well behind that. That's about a 90-yard throw. And he's just an incredible athlete. They say he throws the sail route or that corner route 30 yards, doesn't get 10 yards off the ground, and accurate every time. He is a special kind of talent, and he is actually in the ball game right now.
Little gamesmanship there by Coach Hohensee. So Michael Bishop, the former K-State Wildcat, under center. The ball at the Philadelphia 20-yard line, 2nd down and 10. And he's going to run, but not far. Nice pursuit, backside, Sean Scott, 88, Philadelphia.
Well, Sean Scott knows all about Michael Bishop, and he's playing run right from the get-go, and they just try to run Bishop. Here's Scott right up here at that linebacker, and the receiver out there, C.J. Johnson's supposed to come down and block on him, but he wasn't able to get to him, and therefore now you got an unblocked man running through a hole, and that's not going to get you anywhere. But I tell you what it does, it makes the defense have to account for the running ability of Michael Bishop.
3rd down and 12 for Chicago. Bishop rolls, throws back the other way. That's John Moyer, the lineman who played tight end on this play, but he doesn't get much. Ernest Allen there, and also Sean Scott again with good pursuit from the linebacker spot.
Boy, that play was set up. Frank Moore missed the block. If he can make the block over there, then Moyer has got a long way to run. Now, Bishop kind of had to float that ball a little more than he wanted to. But watch Frank Moore, the center, number 66, right here. He's going to head over there, and he's going to be the guy that's out there to run that one-man screen. If he can just make that block right there on Sean Scott, Moyer can run forever into the end zone. But he missed that block, and that was the key to stopping the play, and a nice little angle from Sean Scott.
33-yard field goal try here for Keith Kispert of Chicago. Got it. So a stop for Philadelphia's defense as they kept Chicago out of the end zone. But the Rush get 3 points, and we've seen Michael Bishop for the first time today. 14-10. Philadelphia leading. They get the ball back. When we come back, you're watching the AFL on NBC. Chicago held to a field goal by the Philadelphia defense, and now the Rush will kick to the Soul. 14-10 lead for the home team.
I want to give that man right there, Keith Gisbert, some credit, though. That was a critical field goal, a longer one, and he went right down the middle with it. And since he's come back from the groin injury he suffered in the warm-ups in the opening week of the season, he has been 4 for 4 on field goals and 8 of 9 on extra points. That's outstanding.
Gisbert missing the first half of the season. 8 of the 16 games he was out. Off the iron, that's a live ball. Nice play by Kevin Gaines to knock it down and pick it up. They'll give him forward progress and mark him just inside the 2-yard line. And that's where Philadelphia will go to work.
Well, that's the second time today Kevin Gaines has made a nice play as the mirror man. You're going to see he's the guy right there on the goal line, and it's his job. If that ball takes a bad bounce, he's got to get on it and cover up the football. And here he is. You're going to see him right there. He's the mirror man. Smith is getting ready to take the ball. It takes that short little hop off the iron, and Gaines is right there to field it. I can't tell you how important that play is because Chicago is coming hard after that football.
Tony Graziani under pressure, throws it out of the end zone. Flag comes in late, throws it over the head of Steve Smith into the grandstand, incomplete. And let's check the penalty. That kind of a scramble might be a holding call, but we'll find out.
That's dangerous when you're throwing out of your own end zone.
Illegal defense. Number 17, linebacker out of the box. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Atu Molden flag for Chicago.
Yeah, look at the pressure Tony Graziani has been under. 2 batted balls, 1 sack. He's been hit 4 times, had to throw that last one up as a souvenir. That's a lot of pressure. They've only dropped back to throw 10 times. He's been hit at least 40%.
Throws this time to Sean Scott, who gets out to the 15-yard line before he's met by Jeremy Yernerdle and knocked out of bounds. 8-yard gain on 1st and 10 for Philadelphia.
Now, and that is how you counter the pass rush. You get rid of the ball on a 1-step drop, get out of your hands quickly, and then let your receiver do it after the catch. Look at that 1-step drop. Graziani gets rid of it quickly so that rush is not a factor, and then you allow your man to run after the catch.
Tony Graziani says that he makes 80% of his reads in the first step of his drop. That one he had to make 100% because he only dropped 1 step. 2nd and 2. Pump fake. Downfield, Steve Smith, one-handed grab. Can he get the goal line? Gonna fall just shy. They'll mark him out at the half-yard line.
Boy, what a play by Steve Smith, sticking out, making the one-hand snag, and then almost finishing it off into the end zone. Graziani throws a little pump fake in there, and the defender on the backside bit on it. Watch the pump fake. Graziani looking out there, throws the pump fake, and now he just lofts it up there, and it gives Smith a chance to run underneath it and make that one-hand stab. He beat Russell Shaw on the double move, and you saw him just touch the wall there before he went out of bounds, or before he crossed the end line or the goal line.
So it sets Philadelphia up 1st and goal at the Chicago 1. Touchdown, Sean Scott on the end around.
And another rushing touchdown for the Philadelphia Soul. And that's their 3rd one today, 21st on the year. And if you can run it in down there, you might just as well. And I think Sean Scott is one of the best. Here he is coming around on the reverse. Actually, he just came out of that backfield in that slot. They faked the reverse look, but the blocking that led the play was what really did it for him again. And they are outstanding as far as pushing people off the ball. Chicago's a little undersized up front. They're susceptible to that.
Todd France good on the point after try. So the bomb downfield, 34 yards to Steve Smith, sets up the 1-yard plunge by Sean Scott. And Philadelphia opens its lead up to 11 points. 21-10.
AFL on NBC next Sunday, 1 Eastern.
What are you doing?
I thought you'd be happy. I fixed the loose tiles and I resealed the tub.
What? It's a shower caddy.
Not that you should, but you could.
It's waterproof.
Polyseam Seal. 1,001 uses and counting.
Savoy Dinner Theatre presents Terror at 5 o'clock.
What shall I feed my family for dinner? Make something? Too tired. Pick something up. But what? But what?
She makes me anxious. And now dinner, Subway restaurants.
The Italian trio, hot and fresh from the oven. Meatball marinara and chicken parmesan on new toasted garlic bread. And the Italian BMT.
Subway, eat fresh.
ParadisePoker.net presents the online poker experience. Play now in the world's only free $1 million online poker tournament. Play online at ParadisePoker.net to be our next poker millionaire. Online now at ParadisePoker.net.
The AFL on NBC is brought to you by Polyseam Seal. Polyseam Seal's like having a toolkit in a tube, 1,001 uses and counting. And by Subway. Thinking dinner? Subway Restaurants. New Italian trio. Perfect for dinner tonight. Subway. Eat fresh. 3 touchdowns today for Philadelphia. Not in the usual manner for this AFL.
No, they've been doing it on the ground. Wes Howard, the man you just saw right there, gets the first one off the right side. A great block by Ernest Allen and Rob Milanese, and they follow it up. The toss. Donnie Klein with the key block, and Chad Dukes gets in, and then they power off the other side. Sean Scott gets into the running act, and so far Philadelphia has been able to control the line of scrimmage down there inside the 5-yard line, and they've been able to punch it in. And don't forget, Alan, they also had 2 fourth-down conversions on each of those touchdown drives, and that was key.
Todd France kicks off. Carlos Wright back deep, takes it at the end boards. Makes a move out of the end zone. He's got some running room. He's gone.
Oh, he's good, too.
58-yard touchdown return. Carlos Wright, a quick 6 for Chicago.
That's his 3rd kickoff return touchdown of the year. He leads the Arena Football League in kickoff return average at 23.4 yards, and he is a threat every time. Watch it. What I like is the move he puts on the kicker, Todd France. Right here, he gets his little gap. Now look at this little move he does right there, that little dip. Took France out of the play, and then it's just a little foot race with the convoy heading down the sidelines into the end zone.
Carlos Wright only took over the kick return duties for Chicago when Henry Douglas was traded away to Columbus on February 7th, and is leading the league in kick return yards despite not having done it for all the games in the season.
You know, he also has 2 missed field goal returns for touchdowns as well.
Fake point after try. Good for 2 for Chicago. Juan Alfonso, the holder, takes the ball and runs it in.
And that's, I think, a check at the line where if they get an inside look from the rush coming up front from Philadelphia, they'll go ahead and run that thing outside on the edge, and it fell into it perfectly. Juan Alfonso, that's the threat that he gives you as that holder there because of his athleticism.
So that brings Chicago back within 3. So an interesting call there to go for 2 by the coach Mike Hohensee for the rush.
No one is as thorough as Mike Hohensee in terms of scouting opponents and being able to take advantage of those kinds of things. And boy, he had something there and he took advantage of it.
Watch the first move by Wright here to get away from Sean Scott in his own end zone.
That was the key one right there. Once he broke that tackle. But look at bodies on bodies. Chicago blocked that thing to a T. The only guy they missed was Sean Scott, and Carlos Wright made him miss. And then it was just a foot race and a kind of fake TO kicker out, which is a lot of times a given. And then here you see the 2-point conversion, the fake on that, and that was just a situation where you scouted somebody, you saw something, and you took advantage of it.
And Alfonso got to the corner quickly. So 3-point ball game, 21-18. Momentum with a heavy swing all of a sudden back to Chicago. And now Gisbert will kick to Steve Smith for Philadelphia. He's got 1 return for 23 yards already in the ball game. Has to fight the fans for it at the back wall of the end zone, and did not appear overly enthused. So touchback, and Philly gets the ball on its own 5-yard line.
Boy, just when you thought Philadelphia had taken control and punched it in, dominating up front, Chicago answers with that long kickoff return, and then they sneak them on the 2-point conversion, and bam, you know, the momentum shifts again in this game.
Well, and that's the thing about this AFL game. It's not an original line to me. I think Pat Hayden said it a couple times in games I've done with him, but every play is a scoring opportunity, right?
Yes, it is.
The kick return just swung the whole thing right there.
The beauty of it.
It feels like a different building all of a sudden. The Philadelphia fans are quiet.
Not for long.
How about another change of momentum? Rob Milanese said he had to get involved in the game early. How's a 45-yard touchdown reception in the second quarter?
Yeah, that's early enough, I suppose, but that's just a blown coverage by the Chicago secondary. They let Milanese just run unmolested down the field. You see number 1, Carlos Wright, right here in the middle, and he totally bit on that post move by Milanese to the point where he was turned around and heading in the other direction, and he did not show up until it was way too late. Now, usually Jeremy Unerdl is the guy playing the middle, but Carlos Wright found himself in that situation. You can see why they like Unerdl in there.
Point after good by Todd France, and just like that, back to a 10-point lead for the Philadelphia Soul.
All right, Rob Milanese fighting for his arena football life, comes up with the big play. Watch this move, the little feint to the post, gets the receiver to bite, and then it's all the way down the field. Milanese with a nice little move, and Philadelphia strikes back.
Next time on Circle of Trust.
Look, this relationship isn't working out. I need to change. From net zero.
Look, forget that zero. Netscape can get you online for just $9.95 a month.
And fewer online ads than net zero?
Please, lots fewer. Netscape gives you free web accelerator and McAfee's comprehensive virus protection.
You make me feel so safe.
Yeah, I know.
Get Netscape. Sign up today.
I was picking up our son from school. One of my neighbors saw the gardener hanging around the back door. We don't have a gardener. But we do have ADT. Its home security is so good, it actually helps stop break-ins from happening.
A single ADT system can help protect your home and loved ones from burglary, fire, and carbon monoxide. So call now and save up to $200 on an ADT protection package.
ADT works. Just ask the bad guys.
ADT. Always there.
Ted Ferguson, Bud Light Daredevil. Today for a Bud Light, I'll attempt a stunt that no man should ever perform. I'll go shopping with my girlfriend during today's game.
This stuff is so cute. I'm gonna go try it all on.
Hey, time! Yeah! Oh, he's down! Oh. Ted, can you hear me? He's down. Everybody focus. All right, get it off. Clear. Let's go. Who's winning?
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it. Starting Monday, April 17th.
A bunch of celebrities in a small space with knives and fire. What could go wrong?
9 celebrities with the help of 3 top chefs have only 50 minutes to cook a gourmet meal. Celebrity Cooking Showdown.
I'm bringing the heat.
Starts Monday, April 17th on NBC.
Ron Jaworski, team president, in his customary row 1 spot right next to the Soul bench. He and Mike Ditka, one of the co-owners of the Chicago Rush team, were doing some promotional spots for the AFL. Some of the outtakes were kind of funny, and we latched onto them.
37. Legal procedure, Ditka. What I do? Personal foul, Ditka. What?
Jaws had a little problem getting the whistle in his jaw there.
Let's hear from Jaws. Here's Otis Livingston.
All right, Jaws, a former quarterback, television analyst, president, and also referee now. Talk about the shoot you and Mike Ditka had. Were you afraid that he was going to actually hit you?
Absolutely not. I tell you, that was probably my thrill of the year, throwing Ditka out of the casino. You know, Mike is such a great guy. He loves arena football like I love it. You know, usually I'm the guy yelling at the officials. I think the league did a great job of choosing me to be the official to throw Ditka out. I enjoyed it.
A lot of your players talked about having the pressure of playing for a team that's owned by John Bon Jovi and a Philadelphia legend like yourself being president. Do you feel that pressure to win as well?
There is no pressure. It's about football. We got to make a play here. Unfortunately, Todd France did. But you're playing professional football. That's pressure enough. These guys accept that.
How about playing here in Philadelphia? You know what it's like to play in front of these fans. What about the pressure of playing in front of these Philadelphia fans for the Soul Play?
It's the greatest football fan base in the country. They're passionate about the game of football. You know, Coach Vermeil came back to watch this game today. He got a tremendous ovation, you know, before the game. He hasn't coached here in about 25 years, so they still love their football heroes in this town, and there will be many Soul heroes someday.
And talk about Coach Vermeil. He's currently retired right now, but what made him such a special coach?
Well, number one, he's been a champion at every level he's coached at. And I talked to him, you know, throughout the season with my NFL work. I enjoy getting insight from the coach, not necessarily the X's and O's, but about leadership and how to deal with people. I'm sure after watching this game today, he's going to have some fine things to say to me. Our head coach, Brent Muncie, I call him Little Vermeil because he's got that great passion and enthusiasm that Dick Vermeil has for the game.
You're also a quarterback, of course, so your assessment of Tony Graziani.
Tony's been very sharp right now. The offensive line really had a little leakage on one time. Tony made a great play on the 4th and 10 to keep us in the ball game, give us that little distance that we need. But Chicago's one heck of a team, and we know this thing's going to go 60 minutes.
All right, thanks for your time. Guys, back up to you in the box.
Little Vermeil.
Yeah, I like that.
2nd and 10, Chicago. Near side. C.J. Johnson's going to get down to the 5-yard line before he's dropped by Cornelius White. 11-yard gain there. How about the kicker with the stop?
Yeah, that time Todd France did not get faked out. He learned you don't take that first move, and he ended up making the play. But how about Carlos Wright coming back after the long return? He comes and gets himself another one. Right there, you see him make that extra move. And again, France in better position, understanding kickers have to make tackles in the Arena Football League. That's just the nature of the way it is, and he was able to get that one.
But Carlos will hear about that.
Oh, yeah, the boys will let him have it, but he can point to the previous one.
1st and goal from the 5. Handoff goes inside and gets about 1 yard for DJ Blysuff. The former lineman converted to fullback linebacker for the rush.
Yeah, when we talked to Coach Hohensee before the game, he said, you know, we thought we were flush at that spot because they had Bob McMillan and then they had Lavelle Brown and they had Charlie Cook all in training camp, but Lavelle Brown got injured. He's out for the season. Charlie Cook is now out injured, and they had to move DJ Blysuff into that spot. And boy, he took to it like a duck to water. He has done an outstanding job in there at that fullback position.
Coach says if he sticks with it, he thinks he could be a really good fullback in this league. Quick hitter to the outside. Johnson, does he make the pylon?
I think he did.
No, we're going to mark him just shy of the goal line. Just shy.
Well, you know,
no, they're not. They're spotting the ball. I never saw the touchdown signal, but they're spotting the ball on the point after line. So
I feel better about that because that certainly was a touchdown from my view up here.
Perhaps I missed the signal, but I didn't. The referee who was standing right over the ball, I didn't see put his arms up.
Yeah, take a look at it. It's C.J. Johnson getting in there. Definitely got the ball across before he hit the wall. Or went down.
No fake this time. They will kick. And good for the point after try for Gisbert. So a game that has been swinging wildly back and forth. Swings in the direction of the Chicago Rush this time. C.J. Johnson into the end zone. 3-point ball game.
Well, the technical term for what I do is neurosurgery. I am a brain doctor.
I'm a lifeguard. I save people.
I'm a race car driver. Formula 2. One.
Me, oh, I'm a hand model.
20 million? No, that's not enough. I'm a big game hunter, cage fighter. Lumberjack.
Must get lonely out there.
Yeah, well, I do have the dolphins. I'm an author. Mostly books.
You told my friend you were a lawyer.
In the off season.
Any Aaron Sales and Lease Ownership store, and you'll find brand new, brand name furniture, electronics, appliances, and computers. Always at the guaranteed lowest price, whether you buy or lease to own, and no credit checks. So, do the math. Nobody beats Aaron's.
Do the math.
Nobody beats Aaron's.
What, you think because you dress like me, you could play like me? Have a nice day.
To learn, chat, and play with the pros for free, go where they live. FullTiltPoker.net. Now available on Mac.
Here, just take him, take him! It's all yours. I don't even want him. He just keeps coming. Well, give me the chip.
They're just giving it to me.
Have the ace of diamonds.
Feels like it's shaping up to be one of those last-minute thrillers in the AFL. Back-and-forth ball game here in Philadelphia. Now 3-point Philly lead.
You never know, but this has got the makings of one of those teeter-totter affairs.
Yeah. Ball through the slack net off the back of the iron. Another touchback for the Chicago kicker, Keith Gisbert. You talk about Philadelphia's standings in the National Conference of the AFL earlier. Chicago on the bubble as well.
Yeah, you see them right down here at 4 and 6, and there's some teams underneath them. They're right now, if it were to end, they would qualify, but they'd be that last man in, and that means you go on the road and things are going to be tough. But Chicago has a chance because you see that nobody is, more than a game and a half ahead of them. You see Arizona up there at 6-5. Nashville is playing today at 6-4, so they're still right in the thick of it. And that's where you want to be. They've done enough to give themselves an opportunity.
First and 10 from their own 5 for Philadelphia. Quick hitter on the outside. Chicago team captain. Cut on Monday by the Rush. Signed by Philadelphia during the week. And in the ballgame against his former teammates today.
Yeah, here's a look at Cornelius White when he played with the Chicago Rush early in the year. He about won that game against San Jose himself. This play on overtime, last play of the game, White makes the catch over the top for the winning touchdown. Here's another look at it. He was a big special part of the Chicago Rush football team. And we talked to Mike Hohensee about it, and he said it was really a hard thing that he had to do to go ahead and let him go and make that cut. He said it was really a perception thing, that the team had a perception of what Corny White was doing and a little bit of attitude. But I also, in my personal opinion, it was a sign of Mike Hohensee circling the wagons.
Yep.
That's the sense that I got. You know what? I'm not saying he cut a guy to make an example out of him, but I guarantee you that was a little bit of it, and it certainly was taken that way by the rest of the football team. Because as a former player, I know when something like that happens, everybody gets on their tippy toes, and you understand the mentality of the team right now. The wagons are circled around Chicago.
And if you weren't with us earlier at the very top of the game, we talked to Cornelius White about it, getting the chance to play against his former team the very following Sunday. And he said, this should be fun.
It always would be fun, for your old guys. That's live, unless it hit a fan. Because it hit the wall. It's live off the wall, but I think it might have hit something on the outside.
Bounce back in. That's what I thought, too.
Boy, Dennison Robinson didn't think so. He thought he had himself an interception. Take a look and we can see what this ball hits. First, it's tipped there. And then, it hits that monitor or whatever right up there.
Scoreboard operator.
Yeah,
there.
Scoreboard operator right there. It hit that monitor and popped up in the air, so definitely a dead ball.
Good call by the officials. Incomplete, 2nd down and 10. Philadelphia at its own 15-yard line. Time for Graziani. Hits Cornelius White. He's across midfield. Slung to the ground by 21 for Chicago, Dennison Robinson, but not until he's got 13 yards and a first down.
And when we talked to Cornelius White, he's changed positions. He was running a lot of motion in the Chicago offense. Now he's what they call the Z receiver, who is on the line on the outside. And he knew that Chicago likes by position. They like to take away the slant. He said Dennison Robinson will line up 3.5 yards inside me. So I don't know how many slants we're going to be able to throw, but with the time that it took to develop, he was able to clear and get open.
Pitch to Chad Dukes, going to get nothing this time for Philadelphia with that running attempt. Nice pursuit up the defensive line by Joe Peters, 93. For Chicago, a rookie, 24-year-old out of Minnesota.
Yeah, there's Peters right up there, and you see him work outside. And we saw Ernest Allen earlier on a touchdown run knock Cream Smith back off the line. This time, Joe Peters got the better of Ernest Allen to stop that play for a loss.
Peters from Kimball, Minnesota, went to Concordia College, a Division II school. Was all conference as a sophomore, junior, and senior.
He's a good young player in this league. He's 24 years old.
Loss of a couple. 2nd down for Philly. Pressure, flags, and intended for Rob Milanese, incomplete. And there are a whole pile of people on top of the Philadelphia quarterback.
And there's a lot of laundry on the field. Initially, Graziani got him to jump with that hard count. And then I saw flags coming in late after that. So there might be multiple fouls on this.
So we'll
Talk
see.
about your laundry.
Yeah, that's like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's only 5 officials on the field. There's only one of them kept the hanky in his pocket.
Usually when you throw the hanky, the next thing that goes is the hat.
Yeah.
And then they got a beanbag in there somewhere also. I don't know what happens after that.
There are double fouls on the play. Encroachment on the defense. Illegal defense. Linebacker rushing outside, number 88. Holding, 96, offense. All penalties were offset. We'll replay the down. Second down.
Nicely explained by Terry Brown, the referee.
Yeah, a lot going on there. Well, you're going to see the offsides first right down there. Kareem Smith went early. DJ Blyseth, you see him coming in late, and he ends up wider than that defensive end. So that's a loop rush. You can't rush outside those ends from a linebacker spot. And the holding was in there as well.
Ball skipped just in front of Cornelius White on the quick hitter by Philadelphia. Incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd down and 12 from midfield for the Soul.
And that's not where you want to be. You know, these 3rd and longs, that's what any offensive coordinator hates, that situation. And Jim Kubiak down there, talking to him on the field prior to the game, he's telling me that him and Tony Graziani, it took a little while because, you know, they had competed against each other, you know, for so many years and were kind of rivals. It took a little while to develop the relationship, but he said the last few weeks they really feel good about it and they're on the same page together.
Downfield, flags come out. That'll be defensive holding on Chicago. Rob Milanese had half a step on Dennison Robinson, and Robinson grabbed on to keep from giving up a touchdown.
Yeah, that's almost like a hooking penalty in hockey where he kind of hooked him around the waist to slow Milanese down, because he definitely won the race out of the break and was going to catch that touchdown.
Double fouls on the play. Holding, number 21, defense. Also, we have holding 65 on the offense. Penalties are all set. Replay 3rd down.
That's a costly penalty for Philadelphia.
Well, I would come back with that same play because they have not been able to cover Milanese on that post corner cut move.
It's Mike Mabry who was tagged for the offensive holding for Philadelphia. So again, it will be 3rd down. Philadelphia 0 for 2 on their 3rd down conversion tries today, and the ball at the midfield stripe. Wow, thrown up for grabs, and Cornelius White turned into a defender to knock that away from Chicago's C.J. Johnson. Check that, Dennison Robinson.
Yeah, he was clearly covered on that. It was Cornelius White, and Tony Graziani, running out of time, just threw it up, hoping his guy could make a play. Here he is. He's just throwing this thing up for grabs, counting on Cornelius White to make the play. And you're right. He comes over the top and sees that he doesn't have the opportunity to catch it, and he plays defense and knocks that thing out of Dennison Robinson's hands.
And that brings us to the 1-minute warning. A minute left in the half. 3-point Philadelphia lead.
I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I've got the month of May. Well, I guess you said, what can make me feel? What can make me feel this way? My girl, my girl, my girl. Talking about my girl.
That's all right, dog. You made the song his own.
Little Debbie, unwrap a smile.
So that's the last slide, right?
Right. So I'm hitting send?
Yeah. Wait. Who's presenting in Chicago?
McLean.
McLean?
Yeah, he can do it. Right?
We know why you fly. We're American Airlines. And when you fly American, get our lowest fares at AA.com, guaranteed.
Hey, what's up?
EA Sports Arena Football. Rated E10 for ages 10 and up. EA Sports. It's in the game.
Welcome to the Subway AFL and NBC studio. At halftime, Al, Glenn, and you will be breaking down this game. Two very similar records, two very similar scores.
Yeah, I see two teams that are on the bubble to make the playoffs, and they're playing like it. This is a great game so far.
Well, despite all the injuries that the Chicago Rush have, they're still in this game, and they still have a chance.
Very, very close. Minute to go, 28-25. We'll see you at halftime here from 30 Rock. Back to Alan.
All right, Al, thanks. And as we get ready for this final minute, Philadelphia's got 4th down and 13, and they're going to attempt a long field goal by Todd France.
Yeah, France is just 2 out of 10 on the season from 40-plus. So you get C.J. Johnson back there. He's going to have a chance to return this, and he's brought a couple to the house on this field goal return. So exciting.
41-yard try. Curve and left. No good. There's Johnson. 5 yards deep in the end zone. Here come 2 flags. He's still running. Runs into his own man, cuts back, still going, and into the end zone. But we'll check the flags. I have a feeling it's coming back.
I don't know. It's possible it could be kick-catch interference, and if that's the case, this will stand. Unless they call the hold down there, but
now they're picking up the flags.
The coverage team cannot go past the 5-yard line until the ball either touches the ground or is caught and touched by the return man. And if they did violate that,
kick-catch interference.
Yes, there it is.
There you
on
go.
The kicking team, the penalty is declined. Touchdown.
Boy, Philadelphia is going to hate themselves after this one. Looks like they almost give it up. Watch right here where he touches the wall, and now that used to be he would be out. But because nobody pushed him into the wall, he's still alive. And I think Philadelphia let their guard down a little bit when they saw him stop against the wall. And then he took off, and he had the angles on everybody.
So the point after try the other way by Keith Gisbert is good, and Chicago has its first lead of this ball game. How about a 55-yard missed field goal return by C.J. Johnson?
It took a long time. We'll take another look at it from here. Here's C.J. Johnson. You see that he's got that wall in front of him. There's the flag for the kick-catch interference. Now watch him right here. He gets touched a little bit, but he doesn't touch the wall until he goes on his own impetus up there. And then that hesitation is what created the angles. And watch the stumbling and bumbling at the end here. Runs right into Dennison Robinson, his own man. And there he goes, works his way into the end zone. This isn't the first time he's done it.
No. C.J. Johnson with his 3rd missed field goal return for a touchdown this year, the 2nd in week 5.
Similar kind of run there, just using the hesitation to destroy the angles.
And this one is against San Jose in week 5. This is when Chicago defeated the SaberCats in overtime.
Those are some special teams plays for Chicago. That's twice now that they've brought it all the way back on some sort of kick return, and that's why they lead this ball game.
And that one took 20.6 seconds to unfold from the time the play clock, the game clock started till the time it ended.
Yeah, I thought that play was over several times myself, and then he just kept going. He kept going, and wait. 20.6 seconds for what, a 55-yard dash?
Yeah.
You're not going to get any track records for that, but it's a touchdown.
Short kickoff this time. And Smith gets his first return in a while, but he's only going to get out to about the 9-yard line for Philadelphia. And he is dropped there by Atu Molden for Chicago, number 17.
Boy, and that's the thing, when we talked to Brett Muncy and I watched some film on this Philadelphia team, and they play well, and all of a sudden they have a breakdown like that where you just you kick yourself, say, what are we doing? And that's the inconsistency that can drive a coach crazy, and that's something that Philadelphia needs to overcome if they're going to be a serious playoff team.
Graziani throws, Mike Brown drops. 32.3 seconds to go. And Brown was out at the almost at the midfield stripe and went through his hands.
Going back to that C.J. Johnson return, he got a little help, and it kind of takes you back to that national championship game where, or actually Notre Dame USC game, where Matt Leinart got a little push from Bush.
Yep.
He got a little help right there.
Graziani hit as he throws and throws incomplete to Sean Scott. There is a flag down in the backfield. And we'll check the penalty with 28 seconds left in the half.
You know, holding, number 95, offense. Penalties half the distance to the goal. Still second down.
Called on Dwayne Missouri.
There's going to be an amendment to that call right here.
Penalty is declined.
There you go.
Third down.
That's it.
That's what you want to do, is make it third down, and now with 28 seconds left in the half, Chicago's hoping to be able to get the football back.
Boy, a scowl on Coach Brett Muncie's face there for Philadelphia.
Go!
Third down and 10. And whistles before the play goes off.
I think that one's going to be on defense, but
I think Kareem Smith was in a little bit of a hurry.
Yeah, I think they got into the neutral zone, and then Philadelphia moved.
Offsides. Number 88, defense, unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
It's not often that an offsides call gets made on a linebacker.
Yep, Lyseth right there, and I think they got the wrong number. It was actually 99. John Moyer who got the early start.
So that makes it third down and 5 instead of third and 10.
But how about the way Chicago is taking the momentum in this ball game?
On his back is Graziani, has to throw the ball away. Lyseth 88 and Smith 58 there for Chicago. And it brings up fourth down again for the Soul.
Boy, Philadelphia needs halftime just to get out of it. You see John Moyer coming from the other side, but it was Lyseth who shot through on a little circular move coming around the center. There he is coming around the center, never was able to get off and get a piece of him. He came untouched and just planted Graziani.
And so here we go again with another long field goal try by Philadelphia. This one going to be 52 yards. And here comes Johnson out of his end zone. Still going.
How about this guy?
Finally wrapped up and dropped just shy of midfield with 9 seconds to go, a 29-yard return.
And I think now you got 5.3 or 9.3 seconds left. You have a chance to definitely take a shot to the end zone or move it in closer to give your field goal kicker a shot. Here's C.J. Johnson again. You know, he hesitates, he goes slow, and that sets up his blockers. And then when he accelerates, that takes the angles away from the tacklers. And he's just got a knack for that, the feel for that, to kind of do that stop-start thing.
Unfortunately, that is Johnson that is down on the ground being attended to by the Chicago medical staff. And so timeout on the field with just over 9 seconds to go. C.J. Johnson in his second year in the AFL, 23-year-old out of Tennessee State. He is from Antioch, Tennessee. And that's one of those areas where so many of these severe storms have come through in this past week. And certainly our thoughts with all the people who've been affected by a lot of that very serious weather in these last 7 days. Good to see Johnson up.
Yeah, he doesn't look too much worse for wear. Get a drink of water. He might even go back in the ball game. Getting some instructions from Brian Schwartz, the defensive backfield coach for Chicago. See, at the end of this thing, he got his ankle touched right there by the kicker, France, and then, wow, a little whip on the leg as Raheem Orr made the tackle. Watch that left leg. Yeah, that looked like it hurt.
Yeah. But as long as Chicago calls a timeout, they're allowed to keep Johnson in the ball game. They do, and he does. And so with 9 seconds left, Chicago has the ball just shy of midfield, 23-yard line.
Take a shot. That's what I'd do.
Got to throw underneath. That'll be 21 Robinson with the ball. He is pushed out of bounds, and the clock stops with 3.4 seconds to go.
Well, you know, Chicago's going to get the ball to come out in the second half. They're going to go for the field goal right here. They can pad that lead to 7 points and have the possession coming out and kind of take control of this ball game.
Yeah.
Look at the numbers today on their returns. That is not something that Philadelphia is going to be very happy about. A lot of times you figure special teams are basically effort plays, and if you're given the effort, you're going to be able to make plays.
29-yard try for Keith Kispert. As the horn sounds, straight down the middle. So after a very seesaw back-and-forth game through most of the first half, Chicago really grabbed the reins of this one here in these last 5 minutes.
And they did it on special teams.
Let's check downstairs to Otis Livingston.
Hey, Coach, I guess the theme of the first half, your special teams. Carlos Wright, C.J. Johnson with some big returns for touchdowns.
Well, that's one area we thought we might have an advantage, and it worked out for us so far. We still got a second half. We know how these games go.
What's going to be your message here at halftime?
We can't turn the football over. We can't get them extra possessions. We're starting to get a heat on them, and we've got to stay close in the defensive backfield. We can't play those loose zones and give them all that space so they can get rid of the ball quicker.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Best of luck in the second half.
Well, Mike Owens, he certainly has to be pleased with the way things have unfolded for Chicago late in this first half. And his team takes a 7-point lead into the locker room, 35-28 over Philadelphia. We'll be joining Al Trotwood, Glenn Parker, and Hugh Douglas in our Subway AFL on NBC halftime studio after this from your local station.
NBC Monday is a big NBC studio. Subway. Eat fresh.
Al Trotwood, Glenn Parker, Hugh Douglas. If this one doesn't go down to the last possession, then I don't know what. That's what this feels like to me.
It does feel that way, but I'll tell you, there's a stat out there right now that we might turn the tide as the game goes on. Graziani has been hit 7 times already, and what that spells is as this game gets going, he's going to get tired of getting hit. Look for some turnovers to come his way if they don't protect him.
But no sacks, so, you know, hits, that's your job as a quarterback. You're going to get hit sometimes, so, you know, hey.
Oh, my goodness.
Nassau Coliseum, Uniondale, New York. The Dragons are in trouble. They go an entire half. They don't score any points. Dallas has 25 points. What's going on here, you?
Well, basically, they've been all over this guy all day long. He takes a big hit right here, does not complete the pass. And on this play here, the same thing. Nobody's blocking anybody.
Where are the offensive linemen?
I have no idea. Yeah, where are they, Glenn?
Well, they're probably on the bench because those are defensive linemen trying to protect him.
And that's Nick Browder, down and out.
Down and out. And on this play right here, he's throwing to the wrong guy. Jermaine Jones runs all the way home with this one, gets a great block at the end, and he's in there.
Well, 25-0 at halftime. Obviously, you can take a negative spin, or you can take a positive spin if you're the Dragons and say, look, we've lost our starting quarterback, which we've done now. We've handled for a while. We're down 25-0, and we know that in this league, a couple of stops and things change.
Absolutely. The last couple minutes of this game, New York came up big on defense. Got a stop right at the goal line, caused a fumble, got the turnover, and then they came up with another stop, forcing a field goal. So I think New York can take a lot of this, and they're not out of this game yet.
All right. Now
I'm a little bit surprised at you, Glenn. It's not over. This game is not over. It's still a lot of time left. It's only halftime. This team is still in it. Anything can happen.
I think that's what you said.
That's what I just said. Yeah, that's okay. That's what I said.
See, when we're on the same page, even then we're not even on the same page.
I just wanted to say, I just felt that.
Next stop, Philadelphia. This is Hugh Douglas's favorite team, the Soul, taking on the Rush. Both teams with similar records. Chicago 4-6, Philadelphia 5-5. So they're very much in the playoff picture.
Two teams that really need this game. But right away, we talk about the hits on the quarterback. It's not about sacks. It's about forcing a guy to do what he doesn't want to do. See him coming up lane, that's going to take its toll on Tony Graziani. They've got to protect him. When you give this guy time, when you let him sit back there, he will pick you apart. Right here, no one gets near him, and he has all day, and no one covers his guy. You're going to score in that position. If they can get a rhythm going, watch out. Philadelphia can be dangerous, and right now they're right in this game.
Well, the first thing I would like to say, in this, Chicago Rush came into this game, the offensive line was banged up, but they definitely don't look like that today. They're playing really tough right now.
Graziani, 7 of 11, 149 yards, 1 touchdown. And again, this is a one-possession game right now. One other game. Kansas City releases Andy Kelly. He's an AFL Hall of Famer. And they bring in Ray Filio, formerly of Chicago. And right now, Kansas City at 1-9, surprising Los Angeles, 34-28. Coming up next, we'll take a look at the top team in the American Conference, the defending Arena Bowl champion Colorado Crush in action this weekend. This is the Subway AFL on NBC Studio. In last year's American Conference Final, a Colorado defensive penalty surprised the hometown faithful, setting off a premature confetti celebration. And this game would need to be decided in overtime. And then in Arena Bowl 19, from expansion to champion in just 3 short years.
Colorado Crush have won Arena Bowl 19.
Defending their championship. That is what the Colorado Crush are doing this season. And let's get things straight. They were awful in their first year, but they are right on now. And they took on the Grand Rapids Rampage this weekend, and they just proved that the Crush are up to their name.
Absolutely. You know, hey, when you're the best team, you come out, you got to win the games you're supposed to win, whether it's on the road or home, and they do that, Hugh.
This is my favorite play here. He bumps the guy, and then he just runs until he gets leg cramps. Where is the coverage on this play?
Yeah, well, the coverage on that play was where it was for the first 5 possessions for the Grand Rapids. They went down 35-0, and that defense for Colorado.
35-0 at home?
Yeah, and that defense for Colorado, 4 straight stops, something unheard of in the NFL. Colorado looks great.
73-48. Let's talk a little bit about how the Crush have gotten this right, because we've learned in learning about this league that there's an Arena Football League way of doing things, and you have to do it that way or you don't win.
Absolutely. And Mike Daly came in the second year of the Crush, and he turned this thing completely around. AFL guy. He is probably the smartest coach in the league when it comes to last-minute timing rules. He understands it better than anybody, and they win a lot of games simply by knowing how to put together an AFL team.
Well, you know what? The one thing that I have noticed just in my first AFL season, that this is a pass rusher's dream. This is the type of situation where you can get at the quarterback every play. But with that being said, Glenn, you have to protect the quarterback.
And who does that better in this league than Colorado? Nobody. John Daly makes a point that he will protect his passer at all costs, even if it means not getting after the opponent's passer. He does that, they score points, they win games.
All right, some other scores around the Arena Football League this weekend. As the standings shake out, we think, going to see, excuse me, a losing team maybe making the playoffs. Arizona, they've got a winning record. They beat the expansion Utah, Blaze 64-52. And also, we've got San Jose turning their season around 52-43. San Jose's 5-6. Tampa Bay is 6-5. Here are the standings. And yes, we can see a losing team making the postseason.
We can. And I want to go back to San Jose for a minute. They have really come along. And they've come along because Darren Arbette never panics. He changed out a lot of guys, brought in some youth. And one of the young guys he brought in, Ben Nelson, the guy has just been out of his mind the last 6 games. And watch for him. By the end of this year, he could be one of the top receivers and win some awards.
And let's not forget that San Jose is definitely benefiting from a weakened schedule. Well, a weakened division.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. I'm not saying that to Darren Arbette, I'll tell you that.
As a reminder, you can see the defending champion Colorado Crush next Sunday. They'll take on Kansas City right here on NBC, starting at 1 Eastern Time. Thanks for joining us. We'll get you back out to the game next. This is the Subway AFL on NBC Studio.
Thanks for joining the Subway AFL on NBC Studio. Experience the new great taste of a fresh toasted sub today. Subway, eat fresh.
The Chicago Rush lead the Philadelphia Soul by a touchdown, 35-28. Allen Bestwick, Ray Bentley. Philadelphia seemed to have a pretty good grip on the ball game at the start. Then Philadelphia and Chicago started going back and forth, and then, Ray, the momentum completely swung in Chicago's corner, and we'll use that to illustrate our Little Debbie big plays.
Right, all of a sudden it was a momentum swing on special teams, and that's where it happened. See, here's Carlos Wright taking the kickoff return. He brings it all the way back for a touchdown. And then they follow that one up with a 2-point conversion. They fake the extra point, and then a missed field goal here in the last minute. And C.J. Johnson, he takes it with a stutter step, kind of a hesitation move, and then the assist into the end zone. And Chicago, on special teams, basically wrested this thing away.
Our Little Debbie big plays, couple of long kick returns. Let's check down with the Philadelphia coach and our Otis Livingston.
Coach Muncie, the story of the first half, their special teams played a couple momentum-changing plays. How do you stop them?
Well, we got to play well in all phases of the game, but that's been our problem all year. I mean, we seem like we have a couple breakdowns in focus, and you know, you can't do that in arena football. As you see, it can change the pace of the game for you. So we got to come back and play hard these next 2 quarters. That's what I asked them. I said, heart and soul these next 2.
Your teams have come out of the locker room sometimes without as much effort or as much success. What did you tell them at halftime?
Hey, I reminded them of that, and I said, hey, the season's right in front of us. If we want to make a run at the playoffs, it starts right now, and that's where we're at.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Back up to you.
Tony Graziani looking a little less than thrilled, the Philadelphia quarterback. His team was up 21-10 on Chicago when the first of those kick returns happened. And then the 2-point conversion made it a 3-point game, and now Chicago up by 7, and they get the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, well, Graziani's also a little unhappy because he's been whacked around in the first half.
That hot tub's going to feel good for him tonight, huh?
got hit 7 times, had a couple of passes batted, got sacked. You it's just been a rough one. So even though they were holding their own until the special teams problems, you got to clean that up.
Here he goes again. Carlos Wright forced into the boards by the kicker, Todd France. 26-yard return and a step from being gone.
And again, the kicker has to make the play, but you see that so often in arena football, and you're asking a guy who makes his living with, kicking a ball around to tackle world-class athletes, and that's not always an easy thing, but France got it done that time. A nice feel to that carom off the iron there. And that's just straight ahead running, and you see France just sacrifice the body for the team.
He's going to need the hot tub too.
Yes, he is.
Kicker's been hit a lot today.
I don't like to laugh about things like that, but that struck me as kind of funny.
Yes, you do. Quick pass. Atu Molden, his first catch of the day. A nice move to get away from one defender. Then he's wrapped up inside the Philadelphia 15-yard line, 15-yard gain.
Yeah, first play of the day for Molden, and when you hear that, you think, oh, Chicago's probably not doing so well, because Molden is the featured guy in the offense, usually their spark plug who gets things going. But because they've been able to get it done in other phases of the game, their number of plays have been limited. Chicago only ran 11 plays in that first half, so there wasn't that many opportunities for Molden.
Molden has missed a few games injured as well in the first part of this season.
You see the production that's gone down.
Bob McMillan, the fullback, gets away from one. Here comes a flag in. And he's wrapped up after a short gain by Sean Scott and Ernest Allen for Philadelphia, but we'll check the penalty. Referee Terry Brown had a busy first half. We had, one extra point where there were 3 different penalties.
It was kind of too many fouls.
Number 98 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
John Sikora, the 8th-year veteran for Chicago, is tagged with that one. And so they'll back the ball up to the 24-yard line of Philadelphia. And it will be 1st and 20 for Coach Mike Hohensy's rush.
Go! Sit!
Matt DeRazio, the Chicago quarterback, throws. Atu Molden with 2 catches now in the opening of the second half after nothing all first half. And he has about 7-yard gain. It'll put the ball at the 18-yard line and bring up 2nd and long.
Boy, Atu Molden, you see him coming around in motion on here, and the man covering him is Eddie Moten. And Moten, you don't even see him in the picture. Now here he comes. He was about 15 yards deep on that, and that's why Molden just hitched it up for about, 6-yard gain right there, and make Moten come up and make the tackle. But they're giving him a lot of respect.
Chicago needs the 4-yard line for a first down. Pressure. Ernest Allen chasing the quarterback, who throws it up for grabs, and it's intercepted.
All right, Matt DeRazio pointed right to himself after he threw that interception. He knew that was one you throw in the stands. And that's been Mike Hohensy's problem with DeRazio, is making that kind of decision. Now, he's only thrown, that's his 4th interception of the year, but this one's a bad one. They run a little fake quick screen. He's rolling outside, and he's trying to do what Tony Graziani did earlier, where you have the defender with the back turn. But this defender didn't have his back turned, and he made a play on the ball, and you saw the despair and the agony that Matt DeRazio went through after making that errant toss.
Defender was Eddie Moten with his 5th interception of the year. Philadelphia takes over on its own 1.5-yard line, and Graziani's first down pass is to Mike Brown, and it gets the Soul out to about the 9-yard line and sets up 2nd and short. Now, momentum, right? Chicago with a 7-point lead with the ball to start the 3rd quarter. Philadelphia gets the stop.
That's the worst possible case scenario for Chicago right there. And this should breathe some life into the Philadelphia football team.
Yep. Quick pass to Sean Scott. Wrapped up from behind. Nice pursuit by Bob McMillan, the veteran linebacker for Chicago, but Scott has first down yardage for Philadelphia.
They're coming out with a quick passing game, trying to negate that pass rush. I know Graziani and sat with Kubiak at halftime, talked about things, and coming out this second half, they want to make sure that Tony Graziani is not getting hit as often, so you go to that timing 3-step game.
It'll be 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line of Philadelphia. Again, another quick hitting pass. That's the far side, Steve Smith, 84, the offensive specialist, across midfield. And we'll give him about 5 on that one.
And Philadelphia is content to do this, and the reason is they have such a good running game, so they don't really need to wing the ball down the field and try to take chances and then get themselves in 3rd and long situations, which we saw quite a few of in the first half. They could just, inch it down the field and get in there inside the 5 and power it in. That's been really their most successful strategy thus far.
Mike Brown this time. And it looks like he's going to have enough for the first down for Philadelphia as they move into Chicago territory.
Well, this is a 1-step, 3-step clinic right here being given by Tony Graziani. He's finding the guy that is the most open. Look at this, Mike Brown right down here. Nobody on him, no press coverage near him. So the first guy that gets there, in fact, is Atu Molden. You see the Jack linebacker. He's one of the best in the league at getting out of that box and making immediate hits. But when Graziani is able to see the field like he is and find that guy that's open, he's hard to stop.
Another one near side. Sean Scott got some yardage after the catch. Missed tackle there for Chicago. And Scott's going to go down to the 5-yard line with a 13-yard gain. And Philadelphia with a nice drive after the interception deep into Chicago territory.
Well, I really like what Jim Kubiak, the offensive coordinator, came up with to come out in this first drive of the second half. He knows his quarterback was taking a lot of hits. The coverage is moving back. So, bam, you just do 3-step, 3-step, 1-step, 3-step, march it down the field.
Here's the pitch. Chad Dukes tries to cut back. Nothing doing there. Maybe one. Atu Molden with the stop for Chicago. And it will be 2nd down and goal from the 5-yard line.
I really admire the way Atu Molden plays football. To me, he's one of those fearless warrior type guys who has no real regard for his body.
Yeah.
And that's why he's ended up missing 4 games this year, throwing himself around. He had surgery on both shoulders in the off season. And then, it's just a product of his habit of throwing his body around.
Graziani with time, rolls, throws. He squeezed one in, and the signal is touchdown.
Oh, he took it right off the wall.
Mike Brown.
Haven't heard much from Mike Brown. He had been the main receiver in this Philadelphia offense the last 3 weeks, going over 100 yards in receptions. And, Coach Muncie said that's really not the guy we want featured. But watch this one. Graziani looking to his right, sees it coming open on the left side, and he's going to put this ball right on the wall right there. Looks like he caught it and pulled it off the wall. In years past, that would not be a touchdown, but the Arena Football League, in their infinite wisdom, made those walls alive this year, and I like it.
Infinite wisdom.
Well,
you need some extra Arena Bowl tickets from the league brass or something? What's up with that?
I know they're listening.
Point after try is good for Philadelphia, and so the turnover. Chicago with the lead and the ball to start the second half. D'Orazio throws the ill-advised pass that's picked off by Philly and results in that Mike Brown touchdown catch and a tie score.
The AFL on NBC next Sunday, 1 Eastern.
To you by refreshingly smooth Bud Light, always worth it. By the United States Army, an army of one. And by Little Debbie, unwrap a smile with Little Debbie snacks. They're a guaranteed winner when you're on the go. 27-year-old Mike Brown out of the Washington, D.C. area with his 8th touchdown reception of the season.
And we had a nice time chatting with Mike Brown yesterday, and I asked him who was it that kind of got you in the straight and narrow when you were young, and he gave the credit to his mother, Amanda Mitchell. Told us a story about he got a brand new bike, and his mom had warned him not to leave it out, not to leave it out. And he left it out at the swimming pool, ran in the locker room, whatever, came out, and his bike was missing. So he comes home, and he's all worried about it, doesn't say nothing, and finally his mom says, "Where's your bike?" He said, he had to fess up. He fesses up, and his mom says, "Well, I got it for you, and it's out in the garage, and don't let it happen again."
Flags on the kick return. As Carlos Wright, despite a lot of zigging and zagging, only able to get out to about the 7-yard line, and we will check the penalty.
Well, that's a story in itself that Wright didn't bring it all the way back.
And the kicker didn't have to stop him.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 23. Phillies after this to the goal. First down.
So that's going to set Chicago back to the 3-yard line.
There's Mike Brown, who grew up in Washington, D.C., about an hour and 15 minutes away from here. Watkins Mill High School, got a state championship in 1994, and he's got some friends here today.
They've got about 20 people came up from D.C. to Philly to see him play football today.
All his high school buddies. He said, you got to show up when your high school buddies are in the house.
So he's into the end zone and then making a good showing for his friends. D'Orazio throws to Atu Molden, who all of a sudden, I guess the Chicago coaches looked at the halftime stats and said, hey, we haven't got Molden into the game yet because he's been the man for them on their opening possession of these possessions of the second half.
And he needs to be the man for this Chicago football team, because when he gets going, it kind of lifts everybody else up just because of the way he attacks things. And I'm talking both sides of the ball. We saw him make some plays on defense, and now here he is, the featured receiver in the offense, and he's making plays again. There's Nolan right there.
Ball out just outside the 20-yard line, 1st and 10 for Chicago. Razio throws near side. Johnson tries to make an inside move. Nice shoestring grab by Reggie Doster to hold him to an 8-yard gain, but he's into Philadelphia territory.
Now you see Chicago coming out with the short passing game, the quick stuff to try and build some rhythm back into the offense. And you know, we saw Michael Bishop for just 2 plays there in the first half, and I don't know if Mike Owens is going to come back to him or not at some point. They didn't have that many plays in the first half to really work him in there.
Kind of have to see how the Chicago offense goes, right? Here's Woody Dantzler with his second touch. His first one went for a touchdown earlier. His second one's going to go as well. What a spin move by Dantzler to elude the Philadelphia tacklers.
Well, that's what Woody Dantzler does best, is run with the football. He was the only quarterback in college history to pass for over 2,000 yards and rush for over 1,000 in the same season back at Clemson. Spent 4 years bouncing around the National Football League as a kick returner and a running back. And you see right there with the instincts and the spin move and just the way he carries himself. And he's hard to bring down, too. He's a powerful back.
Keith Kispert on for the point after try to put Chicago back up by 7 on Philadelphia. And he punches it through. Woody Dantzler, in his first AFL football game, rewrote the record books at Clemson University, bounced around the NFL with Dallas and Atlanta. 2 touches, 2 touchdowns for Dantzler and the Chicago Rush. The action. Woody Dantzler making things happen for the Chicago Rush in his AFL debut.
Well, he is an instinctual type runner. You can just see it. Look at this. Today, out of all the yards that he has, 44 of those 56 yards are run after the catch yards. Watch this spin move at the end of this thing. You just don't teach that. Guys either have that or they don't, and Woody Dantzler has it.
And he's got a little celebration going too. See, well, even though you haven't played for a while, you can still practice that at home.
I suppose. I don't care too much for that kind of stuff, but I like the stuff before that.
Yeah. So Chicago back up by 7. Philadelphia to get the ball. Steve Smith is deep for Keith Gisbert's kick. And has it 6 yards deep in the end zone. Trying to keep himself up with the hand on the ground, but just caught a knee after a 16-yard return. And Philadelphia will start at its own 10-yard line. Well, final weeks of the regular season playing out. Next Sunday, AFL back on NBC when Damian Harrell and Arena Bowl champion Colorado continue their postseason push against Kansas City. It's the AFL on NBC next Sunday, 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific. Be a good Easter afternoon thing.
I'll tell you, I love watching Colorado play. They
Whoa.
to Grand Rapids last night.
John Moyer almost grabbed Tony Graziani's pass right out of midair.
Well, he knows that Graziani's been throwing the one-step stuff, and he almost snuck one on him as he got up into that throwing lane on the quick screen and almost snagged it right out of the air. Here he is right up top here. He knew it was coming. He went right to that spot. And, you know, he's smiling, but inside he's a little upset with himself. He could have had that one.
Moyer first came back after missing 5 weeks with an injured knee. 2nd down and 10.
Oh, good job.
Graziani pumps, doesn't get rid of the ball, and he's pounded. That is Curtis Eason, 55 for Chicago, who made the initial hit. DJ Blythe also there.
That was a double move. You're going to get a pump fake right here by Grind. See the pump fake? Nobody bought it. And so now there's nowhere to go with the football, and it becomes meat at the quarterback time. And Kareem Smith was in there as well. And that's, you see Eason, he gets there first. Well, they got there right about the same time. They might end up splitting that sack.
That was always your favorite game, right? That's all meat at the quarterback?
Absolutely.
3rd down and long. Pressure, Moyer after Graziani, gets away from him, launches downfield, Steve Smith knocked away from him by Russell Shaw, or was it the other way around? Either way, it's incomplete, and it brings up 4th down and long for Philly.
Boy, and John Moyer's the one who made this play happen with his pass rush. He's going to work an inside move, and that forces Graziani outside onto the edge, and then the coverage was good enough to end up making a play at the end. But right up here, you see there's Moyer. He beat Klein on the inside move and flushed Graziani, and so he was basically reduced to kind of throw it up for grabs and see if Steve Smith can wrest it away, but Shaw got there and broke it up.
61-yard field goal attempt. Actually, just a pooch kick. He might keep it away from C.J. Johnson, too. Russell Shaw with the ball at midfield, and Chicago with a defensive stop in good field position to take over.
That's a smart play to pooch kick that thing, because there's no way you're going to make that field goal. You don't want C.J. Johnson bringing another one back to the house on you.
Philadelphia's offense stalls out. Chicago with the ball and the lead.
ParadisePoker.net presents the online poker experience. Play now in the world's only free $1 million online poker tournament. Play online at ParadisePoker.net to be our next poker millionaire. Online now at ParadisePoker.net.
Subway Dinner Theater presents The Thing.
What is it? I don't know. Don't touch it. It's glowing. Run!
And now for dinner, Subway restaurants.
The Italian trio, hot and fresh from the oven. Meatball marinara and chicken parmesan on new toasted garlic bread. And the Italian BMT.
Subway, eat fresh!
Next time on Circle of Trust.
Look, this relationship isn't working out. I need to change. From net zero.
Look, forget that zero. Netscape can get you online for just $9.95 a month.
And fewer online ads than net zero?
Please, lots fewer. Netscape gives you free web accelerator and McAfee's comprehensive virus protection.
It made me feel so.
They have just stopped Philadelphia's offense. Philly's offense came out first drive on the third quarter, Ray, and did little short passes all the way down the field.
Save up to $200 on ADT protection packages. ADT, always there.
I want to welcome those of you who have been watching the Dallas and New York game here to the Wachovia Center, Philadelphia. Pretty close ball game here. A couple of teams on the playoff bubble, Chicago and Philadelphia. Chicago has just stopped Philly and has the ball with a 7-point lead.
And it's been a different kind of game. It was all Philadelphia early. Then all of a sudden Chicago came back, made a couple of big plays in special teams. A missed field goal return, a kickoff return. They took momentum. Philly tied it back up, but now Chicago seems to be in control again.
At midfield, Matt D'Orazio, the Chicago quarterback, throws through the hands and off the face mask of the receiver, Dennison Robinson. 21 for Chicago. Now, this has definitely been a game of momentum plays and big momentum changing plays. You see Philadelphia leading at the end of the first quarter, but look at that second quarter score.
Yeah, that's when Chicago, half of those 28 points came on special teams, and then they also faked an extra point and got a double out of that one. And that's really what the difference in this ball game is, the way Chicago has gotten it done on the special teams.
17-0 run for Chicago to finish the second quarter. Second down and 10. D'Orazio throws, fought for there between Eddie Moten and Duan Alfonso. Moten, the Philadelphia defender, and the ball goes incomplete.
Well, Mike Hohensee was out all the way by the numbers to yell at his quarterback for taking that kind of chance on that throw, and that's something that it has been a thing that Mike Hohensee's talked to us about from even the beginning of the year. Just some of those questionable decisions that that D'Orazio makes late in a down.
Mike Hohensee looking for his 100th AFL head coaching win if his team can pick up the W today. Third down and 10. D'Orazio throws, well defended. Kevin Gaines, 21 for Philadelphia, breaks it up, and it brings up fourth down.
Well, and there was a little pressure that time. We haven't seen D'Orazio under too much pressure, but he had to throw that one with the defender coming around the edge right at him. That's a big defensive play. Gaines on the back end, and E.J. Burt with the pressure, and it forces Chicago to go for the field goal.
It'll be a 40-yard try for Keith Gisbert, the Chicago kicker. Try to get it through the narrow uprights and over the high crossbar. Missed. Live ball. I don't went over the net.
What a huge stop by the Philadelphia Soul defense.
Yes. After Philadelphia's offense stalled on their drive and turned the ball over to Chicago, their defense comes up big. And now they trail by 7 with the ball in their hands.
I suspect that for almost everyone, it is very intimidating. The first time you go into a casino, I mean, you don't even know how to sign up to get into a game. One of the nice things about PokerStars.net is that you can learn all the general rules. PokerStars.net isn't going to teach you how to get on the waiting list at your brick-and-mortar casino, but it is going to teach you how to post your blinds, how to wait your turn before you bet and raise, and it's going to teach you those basics so that you're feeling a little more comfortable. I'm Fossil Man at PokerStars.net. Come play with me.
Come into any Aaron Sales and Lease ownership store and you'll find brand new, brand name furniture, electronics, appliances, and computers. Always at the guaranteed lowest price, whether you buy or lease to own, and no credit checks. So, do the math. Nobody beats Aaron's.
Do the math.
Nobody beats Aaron's.
I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I've got the month of May. Well, I guess you said, what can make me feel? What can make me feel this way? My girl, my girl, my girl. Talking about my girl.
That's all right, dog. You made the song his own.
Little Debbie, unwrap a smile.
Damian Hansharrell and Arena Bowl champ Colorado are strapped in for the playoff drive. Can Kansas City derail their postseason push? The AFL on NBC next Sunday, 1 Eastern.
Champ Car Racing is back. Two-time series champion Sebastian Bourdais starts his quest for a third straight title. The Toyota Grand Prix at Long Beach, next on NBC.
Philadelphia with the ball, trailing by 7. We check with Otis Livingston down on the field.
I'm down here with offensive coordinator Jim Kubiak. A couple series ago, you guys were able to dink and dunk your way down, scored a touchdown. Where do you go from here?
Well, I think our protection is really the first thing that we need to address. We need to give Tony protection, whether we're going 3-step or 5-step, and execute. I mean, all they're doing is playing their blanket coverage, one guy deep, and, we need to execute, take advantage of the holes in the zone.
All right, thanks a lot. Back up to you guys.
Jim Kubiak, former quarterback in the AFL, first year as offensive coordinator for this Philadelphia team. 5-yard line is where Tony Graziani leads his Soul to start. Quick shovel pass to Mike Brown. Nice yards running after the catch. Jeremy Unerdl, 37 for Chicago with the stop, but not until Brown gains 13 yards.
Yeah, Brown's very good running after the catch. And then he gets a couple blockers out in front of him, and it's that quick flip from Graziani, and you see the block on the outside by Sean Scott.
Wow, look at that.
Actually, I take it back. That was Cornelius White. Unerdl almost ripped that thing out.
Yeah, went for the strip there. So Philadelphia out to the 19-yard line with a 1st and 10. Handoff, Brown. All of a sudden, the featured player for the Soul offense, still on his feet. Ball is out. It's whistled down.
Yeah, good call. His knees were down before it came out. But, Jim Kubiak just talked to us about the protection problems, and he wants to make that number one. And so he came out with a quick flip and then a running play. That's going to slow that Chicago pass rush down and then maybe give Graziani a little more time to get that ball out downfield. Boy, that was close, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think the knee's down. See if we can get a stop on this thing right as the knee hits the ground and then see if that ball comes out. Down, it's hard to say. That's as close as it gets.
If they used video review in the AFL, which they don't, I don't think that would be conclusive.
It'd be a tough one.
Yeah. End of the 3rd quarter. Here in Philadelphia, we're back after these messages from your local station. You're watching the AFL on NBC.
Tonight, a night of all-new drama on NBC. First, the West Wing election is finally here with a tragic twist.
He died.
Then on a Law & Order Criminal Intent, a murder at the opera. But this doesn't end till the fat lady sings.
What do you have to say about that, Maestro?
And Crossing Jordan, the voices in this man's head will lead them to a killer.
Drop that gun!
All new West Wing, Criminal Intent and Crossing Jordan, tonight on NBC.
Introducing 9 News Weather Plus,
Colorado's premier 24-hour local weather channel.
It's more than just the current temperature. It's complete weather updates from the 9 News weather team every 15 minutes.
A 24-hour-a-day local look at the weather from the team that you trust.
Watch it now on Comcast Digital Channel 249. 9 News Weather Plus is presented in part by Ultimate Electronics, the next evolution of soundtrack. Ultimate Electronics. Technologize responsibly.
Senior Source on 9news.com, a resource for aging and living well.
For the first time, everyone with Medicare, regardless of income or health status, will have access to prescription drug coverage. The Medicare and You 2006 Handbook explains what this coverage means to you and which plans are available in your area. Visit Senior Source on 9news.com or the 9 Health Fair to learn more.
Rose Community Foundation, a grant-making foundation serving the greater Denver area, proudly supports Senior Source on 9news.com.
As a doctor, I see people with all sorts of problems. Some are bad dressers, some smell like cheese, some insist on shouting down the chute whenever they swallow a pill. Now, for a lot of these problems, there's not much help. But at the 9 Health Fair, you have the chance to help yourself. The 9 Health Fair gives you the opportunity to get a blood test or a screening for a variety of diseases like colon cancer or diabetes. If something's wrong, find out now and protect yourself. You'll be happy you did.
Congratulations to Roger Wolf, voted Broadcaster of the Year.
Copyrighted telecast of the Arena Football League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written permission of the AFL and NBC.
Chicago leading Philadelphia by 7. Philadelphia with the ball into Chicago territory. Talked about Chicago ending the first half on a 17-0 run. 2 big plays, both on special teams, changed the momentum in the game.
Right, the first one a kickoff return by Carlos Wright. He took it all the way, and then C.J. Johnson on a missed field goal. Watch his hesitation right there. Everybody stopped. Philadelphia thought the play was over. He kept going, and then got an assist at the end. Get tossed into the end zone by a teammate, and those 2 huge special teams plays really broke it open for Chicago, who had trailed by as many as 10 prior to that.
But Philadelphia, with an interception on Chicago's first possession of this half, has gotten themselves back into the ball game. And Tony Graziani goes to work at the Chicago 20-yard line. Little screen pass. E.J. Burke rumbling toward the goal line. He's knocked out of bounds by Jeremy Unertal at the 5-yard line. There are flags.
Yeah, Tony Graziani's declining it, so it's obviously
illegal
Chicago.
formation. Number 44, defense, moving forward prior to the snap. The penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
It's Bob McMillan for Chicago ticketed for the violation.
Right up there is E.J. Burke. There he is catching that screen pass. That's a great call by Kubiak to get some of that pressure off and dump it to a lineman. That's only going to slow down that Chicago rush in the long run.
First and goal from the 5, inside handoff for Philadelphia, who has been very, very effective running the ball this season and today.
Yeah, the first 3 touchdowns of the game, they scored in the running game right down in this area of the field. 3 different guys they gave the ball to. Dukes had one of them, Wes Hours had one, and Sean Scott had another. And that's how they've just been powering the ball down in this area.
Just outside the 3-yard line, Dukes is the fullback. Brown is the motion man. He gets the handoff. Good pursuit by the Chicago defense, but Brown's going to gain at least 1. Get the ball down around the 2-yard line for 3rd down.
I think it's time for some play action, some trickeration down here. The running game has been effective. Chicago's thinking run all the way. Pull that thing out, give it to somebody else, and they had that in the offense. Last week against Austin, scored a couple of touchdowns down in this area of the field on play action passes.
Would you ever do a full quarterback bootleg?
Absolutely.
In this game?
Yeah, it's a great call in this game, especially with the success you've had in running the football. See, Brown's a tailback.
3rd and goal from the 2.5. Graziani throws for the back of the end zone under pressure, and it's incomplete.
Boy, he had E.J. Burt wide open.
Graziani is down near side.
That's one of the dangers of running your quarterback. It's that right leg, and that's the one he hurt earlier in the ball game.
And he tripped just before he threw that ball, and he might have gone down into those boards at an awkward angle. So the Philadelphia medical staff out to look at their quarterback. Now, earlier this year, in a game here in Philadelphia, Graziani was hurt. He suffered a dislocated finger on the third play of the game. That was in week 2 against Los Angeles. His backup is Matt Salk, a 30-year-old out of Utah State. Salk came into that ball game and led his team to a 47-33 win, playing all but the first 3 plays in the game. Graziani is up.
Now, if Philadelphia uses a timeout here, they can keep Graziani in the game. If they decide not to use the timeout, Salk will have to come in. Take another look at the end of it. Here's the fake right there. E.J. Burt wide open in the back of the end zone. Graz thinks he can run it in, and then he sees that's not going to happen.
Right there, his left, when he planted that leg, his right leg, it looks like his knee kind of bent at an awkward angle. Watch, he kind of makes a hop step over here, and when he comes down just on his right foot. Watch his right leg, right, next step, right.
Yeah, he kind of hyperextended it.
Yep.
Over the top, finished up, almost got the ball out to Scott.
So the backup, Matt Salk, is in. It's 4th down and goal from the 2. He throws, it's intercepted. Jeremy Unerdle for Chicago intercepts in the end zone.
Boy, there was people jumping prior to that snap, but no flag came out.
And the Philadelphia coach, Brett Muncy, is irate out on the field, screaming at the officials.
I think he's got a legitimate beef. It certainly looked to me like there was movement prior to the snap from the defensive side. Take a look here. Absolutely. That's a missed call. The linebacker for sure. Bob McMillan moving towards the line of scrimmage at the snap. That's illegal right here. See McMillan, you can't do that. That MAC linebacker has to be stationary at the snap. That's a missed call that really looks to be costly for Philadelphia.
So Matt Salk's first play entering the game as the backup is an interception in the end zone. Chicago takes over the ball. Atu Molden out to the 20-yard line with close to first down yardage.
Molden has been the featured guy here in the second half.
Yes, he has. Molden has he's had 4 grabs in the second half for 36 yards and a touchdown.
After not catching a ball the entire first half.
Just updated from that last catch, Ray. 4 for 49 yards.
Go!
First down for Chicago, just outside their own 21. Wide open is Molden. And he's popped there. Mike Brown caught him after Eddie Moten had his ankles, but Chicago into Philadelphia territory at a 12-yard gain.
Boy, and the reason Molden is so wide open is because Eddie Moten is playing that deep middle. You can see he's going late. Right there's Eddie Moten going late to the deep middle. He's on the run there, so when that ball gets snapped, look at how far back he is, 15, almost 20 yards back. There's such a huge gap in between there that Chicago will take that all day long.
First down play, DeRazio throws. It's his own fullback, Bob McMillan, with the ball. Flag comes in. McMillan still on his feet, and he's dropped at the 3-yard line. But we'll check the penalty.
That was Atu Molden, who reached out and held after the catch, trying to give Bob McMillan a little extra room.
A lot of the Philadelphia players waving backwards.
Holding, number 17 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Still first down.
So that will take Chicago from 1st and goal back to 1st and about 16.
Right there, hold it. Atu Molden reaching out with that hand. Now you can extend your hands when you block, but they got to be in front of you. You can't reach out to the side like that and grab a guy, and that was right out there in front of everybody. You're not going to get away with that one.
And generally when you horse collar him, it's not, not a good thing either.
Go! Not a good thing at all.
Yeah. DeRazio throws this time. It'll be C.J. Johnson with a short gainer. give him about 8 yards. And he puts the ball down to the 14-yard line and brings up 2nd down and 7.
And Matt D'Orazio has really been able to do what he wants back there. Not a whole lot of pressure on him so far today. Only been hit 4 times. Yet to be sacked.
Solid job by the Chicago offensive front. 2nd down. Pressure this time. D'Orazio throws. It's complete, though. Molden with the grab. Very close to the 1st down marker. It's going to depend on the spot.
Boy, Atu Molden, when he runs his pass routes, we talked to him about it, and he'll run them 3-4 different ways, from the easiest to the hardest, to try and see if he can give those defenders different looks. And that created a problem for Matt D'Orazio, because Matt D'Orazio was watching him, and he would think, no, I called post, but he wouldn't believe what he called because he thought Molden was going to go to the corner. He faked him out, so he had to learn to quit watching him. His own receiver faked him out.
Did not have the 1st down. D'Orazio on the keeper will have 1st down yardage. And so Chicago going to be set up at the Philadelphia 6-yard line, already with a 7-point lead. Well, this game has been a crazy momentum swing affair. And now the latest being the Tony Graziani injury, and the backup coming in, Matt Salk, with a 4th down and goal play at the 1 or 2-yard line, and throws the interception.
Yeah, and I think he threw it figuring that he had another shot at it because Chicago was blatantly offside, but there was no call on that.
So 1st and goal for the rush. Molden is the motion man. And D'Orazio to throw. Stripped. Ball is out. There are whistles and flags, and I'm not sure that's going to be a play.
I think they ran out of time.
Before the snap, the length of game, number 10, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
That's one of those good penalties.
Otis Livingston has been checking on Tony Graziani for us. Let's find out, Otis.
Yeah, guys, unfortunately for Philadelphia, if they're going to have to come back today, they're going to have to do it without Tony Graziani. He has a pulled hamstring. He will not return, so Matt Salk will have to go the rest of the way. It's not a knee injury, not a torn hamstring. It's a pulled hamstring for Tony Graziani. He's done for the day.
Well, as far as bad news goes, it's not that bad. Thank goodness it's not a knee.
D'Orazio throws, heavy hit, and the ball comes into Mike Brown's hands. Interception, Philadelphia.
He took it right off the wall.
Across midfield. Pursued by Chicago, finally forced into the side barrier by Curtis Eason. Another crazy momentum swing in this ball game.
That's arena football right there. Them walls are live, and that ball just hung on the wall. Mike Brown snagged it off of it and started heading in the other direction. That's a tough deal for Matt D'Orazio. He's got his receiver running right to the corner. Gets the ball out right there. Caught ball. It goes on the wall, and it ends up in the hands of Mike Brown. And he's heading the other way. You can't blame D'Orazio for that one. I mean, that's one that Molden has to catch.
Off the hands, off the face mask, off the boards, into Brown's hands. Philadelphia in business. Soft throws to Sean Scott. Dances away from one defender. Scott with a 5-yard gain down to the 8-yard line. And Philadelphia trying to come back and tie this ball game up. Things were looking bleak. Now
there you go. Just
way.
Stick around. It'll change. And if you're wondering about Matt Salk, 7 years in arena football, several of them in AF2, where he actually threw 99 touchdown passes for the Louisville Fire last year, was the Offensive Player of the Year. So he is definitely a guy that can get it done in this arena football.
Throws for the end zone, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Mike Brown, and it will bring up 3rd down for Philadelphia.
Well, Salk showed you the whip arm that he has here. He's tried to squeeze this through a little window and almost got it in there. Right there, just a little too much heat for Mike Brown to bring it in.
He was trying to throw that through a small window. A porthole. Yeah. So 3rd down for Philly. Line to gain for the 1st down is the 2. Ball rests just inside the 8. Soft throws, batted down. John Sikora, 98 for Chicago, sets up a 4th down for Philadelphia.
Yeah, you got to go for it here. 4th time that Philadelphia has had a ball batted today. You see Sikora over here. He's playing that quick passing game the whole way, not even rushing the quarterback, just fending off the blocker and getting into a throwing lane, and he did it to perfection.
That's the 3rd Philadelphia pass batted down today. So it sets up 4th down. They can get a first at the 2. Soft throws. Touchdown! How did that get through to the receiver, Sean Scott?
That was amazing. Scott looked over one shoulder. The defender saw the ball coming over the other shoulder and stuck in right behind Dennison Robinson. And Salk, this is a throw of faith right here. Look at that knuckleball. I think it either got hit at the line or it slipped out of his hands. But you talk about some good fortune right there.
Wow.
The football god smiling on the Philadelphia soul.
So Matt Salk, the backup quarterback, with the touchdown pass. Now he holds the point after try, which ties the ball game for Philadelphia.
Well, you need a little luck in this game. It drives coaches crazy. So many ways things can go wrong. Well, they go right this time for Matt Salk. That ball got batted. Sean Scott kept his eyes on it and brought it in for the tying score.
The AFL on NBC next Sunday, 1 Eastern.
Hey, what's up?
EA Sports, Arena Football, rated E10 for ages 10 and up. EA Sports, it's in the game.
This is a $10,000 seat. A $10,000 seat at Poker's World Championship main event. And now FullTiltPoker.net is giving away 100 of these seats absolutely free. That means 100 of you in 100 of these at the main event free. Plus coaching before the tourney from our pros. And if you win the main event, we'll give you $10 million more. Go to FullTiltPoker.net for a free chance to win, as well as the best in poker education. Tournaments are running now.
The AFL on NBC is brought to you by EA Sports Arena Football. Football, it's more fun indoors. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. I still can't figure out, and we've watched the replay a couple times, how Matt Salk got this ball into Sean Scott.
Well, there's John Sikora. He played it again perfectly. You see him bat the ball. The ball now is taking a kind of a weird trajectory. It's spinning out of control, but it goes perfectly over the shoulder of the defender, Dennison Robinson, right into the hands of Sean Scott. Now, you just don't get any luckier than that, I'm telling you.
Both of these teams on the bubble where making the playoffs are concerned. With just 6 games remaining in the season, very important contest to come out on top. And it's been a wild back and forth one. Carlos Wright with the kick return for Chicago. He's run one back already today. This time he'll get caught and dropped by Wes Hours at the 10-yard line. Tie ball game, just under 5 minutes to go. Another fantastic finish coming up from the AFL. Stick around, we'll see.
There are lots of reasons to get an ADT security system. What are yours? Call now and save up to $200 on an ADT protection package. ADT, always there.
Well, the technical term for what I do is neurosurgery. I am a brain doctor. I'm a lifeguard. I save people. I'm a race car driver. Formula 2. One. Me, oh, I'm a hand model. 20 million? No, that's not enough. I'm a big game hunter, cage fighter, lumberjack.
Must get lonely out there.
Yeah, well, I do have the dolphins. I'm an author. Mostly books.
I told my friend you were a lawyer.
In the off-season.
The thing is,
Everyone wants to save money on their car insurance. You asking if they want a free Geico quote's like asking if they want free pie and chips. Of course they want free pie and chips. It's pie with chips for free. But pie and chips, you can get them anywhere. Geico quotes, made from scratch, just for you. Only at geico.com.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
The NHL season has been one of dramatic change, a furious and powerful sport, liberating, wide-open excitement. Now this revolutionary new game intensifies with the toughest postseason test. Who will raise the Stanley Cup? The NHL playoffs on NBC, presented by Sprint.
Sean Scott with a catch that has tied the ball game for Philadelphia. Downstairs to Otis for a sneak peek brought to you by Bud Light with the man who threw that ball.
That's right, guys. I'm down here with Matt Sock, and you know the saying, it's better to be lucky than good sometimes. Take us through that sneak peek. What happened?
Exactly. We had called a double post and a Z press hitch, which means he gets to the front of the end zone and just stays. And they've been spying their end, and he got another piece of it, and luckily, Sean made a play. He's a player.
We're going to take another look at it right here. I saw Tony Graziani also come over and talk to you. What did he say about the rest of the...
Well, really, what we're seeing now, we'll make an adjustment, is they've been spying near the goal line, so we're going to have to start cutting that front side end so that we can get throws like that.
All right, best of luck the rest of the way. Alan, Ray, back to you.
All right, Otis, thanks. So Sean Scott with a touchdown grab, a tie ball game now. As Chicago takes over at their own 10-yard line. Durazio, the quarterback, throws far side. C.J. Johnson with the grab. He's forced out of bounds by Eddie Moten, but a nice 9-yard gain for the rush. Quiets the Philadelphia crowd a little bit.
Yeah, this one has all the makings of a classic here, Alan. Going to come right down to the end. 42 all, a little over under 4.5 minutes left. Chicago with the ball. And, you know, it's almost time to start thinking about the clock. These last 4 minutes evaporate in a hurry, at least 3 of those last 4 till you get to the 1-minute timing rules.
Second and short. Durazio throws onto Molden, who's had a quiet first half, but a big second half, and he's across midfield and a first down for the Chicago Rush. Talked about this being a bubble game, or 2 bubble teams as far as the standings are concerned for the playoffs. This is the National Conference where Philadelphia is.
Right, you see that, but you also see all these 6s right here. Philadelphia at 5. They really need to win this ball game to keep themselves rolling forward into that playoff hunt.
Show you the Chicago playoff picture after this play. First down and 10 from the Philadelphia 21. Durazio throws in and out of the hands of Woody Dantzler, who's had 2 touches today and scored 2 touchdowns, but this one is dropped.
And here you see Chicago, if it were to end right now, they would be in with those 4 wins. But again, they're not that far away. You look at the teams ahead of them, and it's just a game and a half, 2 games. So they are jockeying for position, and I'll tell you, it's very important to try and get some playoff games at home.
Yeah.
Your odds are a lot better if you can play at home to advance.
Second down. Line to gain is the 11. Durazio hit as he throws. Matu Molden is hit as he catches, but he hauls it in, and there's a late flag down, and that is possibly going to be roughing the passer.
I think it's going to be a holding.
Do you?
Holding, number 65, offense. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
And the reason I know that is the supervising official here, Ed Manning, gave me the signal through the plated glass that we keep him behind. Right there, the offensive center, Frank Moore, it's the old takedown over the top.
Dwayne Missouri
by the officials.
Dwayne Missouri put a pop on Matt Durazio after he threw the ball, and he had a couple steps to get to him, so that's why I thought there might have been an opportunity there.
Yeah, well, it was close. It could have easily been called.
I know you defensive guys, anytime you hit the quarterback, it's never a foul.
No, that's a good time.
Third down. Need 5 yards. Durazio throws from Molden. It's over the top, can't get it. And Durazio with Chad Dukes wrapped around his ankles. Under some pressure on that play.
Philadelphia came up and pressed across the board, and Eddie Moulton came up and took on Atu Molden and basically took that play away. You see the pressure there at the end. Quarterbacks hate it when they're rolling around your legs, and Dukes just with an effort play gets in there. Durazio had to lay it up too high as Moulton had undercut the route. Here we go.
4th down. Chicago needs 5 yards.
Pressed again.
Durazio throws, got the 5 and more. Touchdown, Atu Molden. 16 yards, Durazio to Molden, and Chicago retakes the lead.
You know, we talked to Eddie Moulton about his press coverage, and he said sometimes he gets nervous and doesn't have the patience and bails out too soon. Watch him right here. He's going to bail out too soon on Atu Molden and then turn the shoulder. See how he turns to the outside? That gives Molden the cut underneath, forces Moulton to flip turn. He gets there too late. Durazio sees the whole thing and delivers it right on time. Perfect execution.
Timeout is being called.
So actually you're down to the 1 minute.
We went down to the 1 minute.
I told you that those minutes evaporate in a hurry.
They sure did. Well, Chicago looking to go up by 7. Philadelphia will get the ball back. Each team with all of their timeouts intact. And Brett Muncy knowing his team needs a win. Here's Keith Gisbert for the point after.
Yeah, this is a big one here by Gisbert.
And he punches it through.
It's good. And with 1 minute
So, a 7-point ball game. 1 minute to go. How's this one going to finish? Chicago has seen 5 games this season decided on the last play. This might be number 6.
That was an awesome show.
Awesome.
Hey, would you mind?
No problem.
Me too. So, are you the bass player or the drummer?
I'm not in the band. I'm just here for the Bud Light. Who's pen?
Johnny! Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Who's Todd Schishler?
What are you doing?
I thought you'd be happy. I fixed the loose tiles and I resealed the tub. What? It's a shower caddy.
Not that you should, but you could.
It's waterproof.
Polyseam Seal. 1,001 uses and counting.
This is the awesome Cadillac Escalade. And these are the keys to the awesome Cadillac Escalade. Play in PartyPoker.net's Win a Cadillac promotion, and you could win a brand new 2007 Cadillac Escalade. And there's a whole bunch of other great prizes. So sign up at PartyPoker.net now. PartyPoker.net, the world's largest poker school.
Tuesday on Scrubs, be there for the first look at the new baby.
I'm okay with it.
Then breaking down cultural barriers on teachers.
You're a black man. Where's your anger? I'm from Maine. My dad's an optician. Not that mad.
All new comedy Tuesday on NBC.
From New York, we look into the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale. The Dragons, down 25-0, have turned their game with Dallas into a game.
Absolutely. You told you it wasn't over. How about Mike Horacek? In the last 11 minutes, this guy's got 3 touchdowns, an interception, and 108 yards receiving.
39-28, 3 minutes to go as you see. Counting it down as we send you back to Alan Bestwick and Ray Bentley in Philadelphia.
Sounds like things livened up on the island, Al, and we've got a lively one here in Philadelphia, too. Atu Molden has been a stud in the second half for Chicago.
Yeah, just amazing. All those numbers came from the second half.
Molden is kind of a unique guy.
If I'm in the kitchen, it's definitely in the morning, and I'm going to be making some pancakes with pomegranates in them. That's where it's at. The last time I went on vacation, it was Texas, and I got a lot of family over there, and I always have a great time. I think bar none really is my favorite athlete is Jerry Rice. Can't get paid for sleeping, so I guess I'd probably have to be I don't know, I'd probably try to do a lot more with my art.
Atu Molden, I think would be pretty fair to describe him as a guy who marches to the beat of his own drum.
Yeah, he does. He lights up a room when he comes in, and he's going to try and maybe light up an onside kick here. I would expect Chicago may just attempt that. Choose to go deep.
Steve Smith back for Philadelphia. 7 yards deep in his end zone. Looking for some running room. Nice grab there by DeJuan Alfonso, 23 for Chicago, but a 20-yard return for Smith sets Philadelphia up at its 13-yard line. Well, admirable job by Matt Salk stepping in for Philadelphia. He'll go to work here in a minute. First, let's check down with another man who's accomplished much in Philadelphia sports. Not you, Otis, the guy you're sitting with.
Well, I have too, but more importantly, I'm down here with former Eagle head coach Dick Vermeil, Super Bowl runner-up with the Eagles. Your first game here in the Arena League. What are your impressions of the league?
I'm enjoying it very much. It's so close, you know, and it's a very fast, quick game, and they hit just like everybody else does in the National Football League, so I'm enjoying it.
You are very revered here in the city. As I said, took the Eagles to the Super Bowl. What's it like to be on the Philadelphia football team for these fans?
Well, you know, the Philadelphia fans are so involved with all their teams. If they're here, they're involved with them, whether it be the Eagles or the Soul or the 76ers. They're very intense, loyal fans.
All right, thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of the game, Coach.
Rob Milanese, as Philadelphia in 2 plays marches down the field to the Chicago 5-yard line.
Yeah, Chicago's got to get a timeout, and they finally do. Walt Hausman, the defensive coordinator, ran out onto the field to call that because they need to save themselves some time if Philadelphia were to score. So now the clock management becomes a big factor.
So timeout Chicago, just over 39 seconds to go. Philadelphia driving, down by 7.
Savoy Dinner Theatre presents Tada at 5 o'clock.
What shall I feed my family for dinner? Make something? Too tired. Pick something up. But what? But what?
She makes me anxious. And now dinner. Subway restaurants. The Italian trio, hot and fresh from the oven. Meatball marinara and chicken parmesan on new toasted garlic bread. And the Italian BMT. Subway. Eat fresh.
You're gonna like these guys, though. They're a pretty good crew. Everybody listen up. This is Levon. Hey, Levon, I'm Winty. You're on the 120 today. How are you? So if there's anything you need, just ask these guys. They'll take care of it, all right? Welcome aboard. Thank you. You ever been around anything this fast before?
Yeah, in my last job. See how Army training gives you strength for now, strength for later at GoArmy.com.
Of all the places we fly around the world, we know one means more to you than any other. We know why you fly. We're American Airlines.
This Tuesday at 10/9 Central, a special chance to catch an all-new Conviction.
I'm innocent.
From the creator of Law & Order SVU, young prosecutors in the toughest courts.
Is the path of the gunshot wound consistent with the suicide?
A special all-new Conviction, Tuesday, 10/9 Central on NBC.
There's Tony Graziani, the Philadelphia starting quarterback, out with a hamstring injury. Watching his backup Matt Salk try and tie this ball game as his team trails Chicago by 7. I think largely in the second half, Chicago's lead due to the efforts of this man, our U.S. Army Iron Man of the game.
Atu Molden, an incredible second half. And you see, here's that last touchdown that puts Chicago in the lead. And he's just been all over the field and really lighting it up in the second half. He's the U.S. Army Iron Man of this game.
Incredible performance after being almost invisible in the first half. And Atu Molden doing all he can to get his team in position for an important win. Now let's see what Matt Salk can do, the Philadelphia backup quarterback. They have the ball at the Chicago 5, first and goal, trailing by 7. And off, inside.
Chicago's got to take another timeout. They definitely have time to counter back with a score if Philadelphia is able to get it in.
So that's Chicago's second timeout. And it was Wes Hours, the fullback, who picked up about 2 and is going to set up a second down and goal from the 3. Well, I'll tell you what, Brett Muncie's team has had trouble putting together 4 quarters of full effort this year. The coach told us in our meetings with him yesterday they had a little letdown at the end of the first half, but you can't fault the intensity with which they've played the second half today.
Yeah, and that's the thing, the message that he had to his football team just getting prepared for this week, that they need it for 4 quarters, and they need it all week long leading up to those 4 quarters. And they like you said, Alan, a couple bumps in the road, but they're right here in this ball game with a chance to pull it out.
Second down and goal from the 3 for Philadelphia. Sean Scott, 88, gets the handoff. Knocked down quickly. John Moyer, 99, in there for Chicago. And it will bring up 3rd and goal, and Chicago forced to take another timeout. 28 seconds to go. Now, 3rd and goal. The pressure begins to build on Philadelphia because in their game last week against Austin, twice they had a 1st and goal and didn't score.
Right, and then Austin came back on the very next play when they got the ball back and scored the game-winning touchdown. So what Philadelphia now, throw the clock out the window. You need to try to get into the end zone right now here on this play. Some guys say, hey, maybe try to eat a little more of the time off and go for it all or nothing on 4th down. I'm not a believer in that. I think you need to try and get it into the end zone right here.
3rd down and goal. Salk to throw. Touchdown, Philadelphia, Rob Milanese.
Some people say, hey, go for 2, get your win, but you're at home. There's plenty of time left. Kick your extra point and tie this thing up. Matt Salk finds a wide-open Milanese on this play. Milanese is the guy down at the bottom, a little rub route, a little cross with Sean Scott. Chicago wasn't able to pick it up. And look at Salk get rid of this football right on time. Perfect execution of the play. He made that throw away from the defender, which allowed Milanese to get it.
For the tie. Todd France, the kicker, is good. So Rob Milanese, whose coach said needed to have a big day today, kind of hinting he might be in trouble as far as his...
Next time on Circle of Trust.
Look, this relationship isn't working out. I need to change. From net zero.
Look, forget that 0. Netscape can get you online for just $9
on Mac.
Tie ball game, 26 seconds to go. Philadelphia has just drawn even with Chicago. That is Mike Brown, who's had a pretty huge ball game today and made the ADT defensive play of the game that Philadelphia really needed.
Yeah, they were down 7 at this point. Chicago driving. Mike Brown pulls it from Atumolin and off the wall and brings it back in the other direction. That's the ADT defensive play of the game.
Set things up for Philadelphia to have a chance to get back into this ball game. Now Brown out to cover on special teams as the Soul will kick it away to Chicago. Chicago out of timeouts. Philadelphia with all 3 of theirs. 26.5 seconds to go. Carlos Wright has returned to kickoff for a touchdown earlier today. And the ball bounced off the top of the end boards, I believe, and that's going to go as a touchback.
A kick ball hits the wall, it's dead right there.
So that is tough luck for Chicago.
Take a look at that ball coming down on the trajectory, and see it touches the wall right back in this area. As soon as it does, it's blown dead.
So instead of trying to get some kick return yardage that they've been very successful with today, Chicago will have to go to work at its own 5-yard line. No timeouts. 45 yards to go to a possible win.
Yeah, they'll be working the sidelines, working the edges so they can get out of bounds to stop the clock.
Matt D'Orazio, the quarterback. With time. Across the middle, Denison Robinson with the catch. And is rubbed out at the 17-yard line. And the clock will stop there on the out-of-bounds play. And they're going to have to add some time back onto the clock. The timekeeper was
8 seconds, please.
A little slow getting it shut off there.
Yeah, you got the home clock operator, right?
Yeah.
That's not supposed to be a factor, but more often than not it is.
It happens.
So 18 seconds put on the clock.
Yep.
Chicago, no stranger to close games. 5 of their 10 games this year have been decided on the final play.
And the kicker, Keith Gisbert, looking on. Maybe he'll have a chance to try and win the ball game. 1st and 10. Pressure on DeRazio. Flag is down and incomplete, intended for Johnson.
That's in the area of offensive holding.
And E.J. Burt for Philadelphia is down in the backfield. One of the fine defensive linemen.
Number 99, offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
And flagged on John Moyer.
Yeah, here's John Moyer right up at the top there. You see him working on E.J. Burt. Burt slapping at the hands, and Moyer gets that arm bar across the chest, and he then grabs a hold of the shoulder pads and drags him down for good measure.
So they back the ball up to the 8-yard line. 1st and 20 for Chicago. 12 seconds to go. Throw to Molden with some running room.
Got to get out of bounds.
And he does.
Boy, that was
nice
close.
Effort.
They could have called that his forward progress stopped before he got to the wall and left that clock to run, but the officials give Chicago a break there. Stop that clock with 6 seconds left. I think you got time for one more play. You got to throw it to the wall so you can get that thing out of bounds in a hurry, and then you bring Keith Gisbert out, maybe decide this game, or maybe you go to overtime. And that's the thing with the Rush is they do have overtime in their back pocket.
Worst
Not
thing
like they're going to lose if they don't get it done.
Yep. Worst thing that's going to happen to them. 2nd down. Throw near side, incomplete. Clock stops, 2.9 seconds to go. Enter the kicker with a chance to win the ball game. Keith Gisbert, 29-year-old in his 4th year in the AFL, missed the first 8 weeks of the season, injured in warm-ups for the opening week game.
This is his 3rd week back out. He's 4 out of 5 in his field goal attempts since returning. This is a long one, though.
It's going to be a 48-yard try. He's 1 for 1 from that distance this year. Juan Alfonso the hold. Gisbert legs it out. Off the arm, no good. That's a live ball. Steve Smith on the return for Philadelphia. He's not going to be able to do anything with it. We are going to overtime.
Well, Chicago wants a safety. They don't think Smith got himself out of the end zone. He did actually come out, ended up back in, but his progress was stopped in the field of play, so that is not a safety. But boy, Mike Hohensee was lobbying.
So overtime coming up. Check out Watch Smith here. He does get out, but his forward progress.
Yeah, this forward progress was stopped in the field of play.
I guess the argument would be that he ran back into the end zone himself, but a Chicago player had his hands on him.
Yeah, they stopped it with the forward progress. And this will be the first ever overtime game for the Philadelphia Soul.
And for Chicago, they have had 2 games go to overtime this year.
They won both of them. They beat Nashville and San Jose in overtime. So Chicago maybe a little more comfortable in this position. Overtime rules in arena football. Each team will get a possession. And then once each team has had a possession, and if it's still tied, then you'll go to sudden death at that point.
Graziani, one of the team captains, went out.
Both teams have to have a possession of the ball. All right, you're the visiting team, you'll make the coin toss. Call it. The call is heads. Heads is the call. It is tails. You guys have won the toss. Which way you guys want to kick?
Yeah,
Just a little discussion over who wants what. With the one possession rule, do you want the ball first or you want to let them have the ball
there's
first?
several schools of thought. Sometimes you think, you know what, we'll take the ball first, we'll score, and then if they score to tie us, then we get the next possession in sudden death. However, most teams will go for
Philadelphia
two
will receive.
All right.
So it's really two schools of thought. I was always a guy that I didn't like going for two and having a play be decided on one, or a game decided on one play.
Yeah.
So I usually took the football.
Philadelphia will take the football. And both teams trying to get an important win for their playoff hopes. Overtime when we come back. Wachovia Center in Philadelphia, where the Chicago Rush and the Philadelphia Soul are going to overtime. We welcome those of you who've been watching the Dallas-New York game. Alan Bestwick with Ray Bentley and Otis Livingston. The overtime rules in the AFL, each team gets one possession. If the teams are tied after each has a possession, then it becomes sudden death.
Coach Muncie decided to take the football. You know, some guys think, you know, they just soon give the football to the opponent and then see what they have to do to win the game. And then obviously you have to go for two if the other team has scored and converted.
So Keith Gisbert to kick. And back deep for Philadelphia, Steve Smith, number 84, takes the kick 7 yards deep in the end zone. Nice return out to the 18-yard line. That's where Philadelphia will go to work at its 25-yard line.
Matt South coming out at quarterback. His first pass he threw today, Allen, was intercepted. Since then, he's 5 of 7 for 48 yards and a touchdown. So he's settled in there pretty nice.
Saw coming in just at the beginning part of the fourth quarter when Tony Graziani was injured on a scrambling play. Sauk's first play was a 4th and goal that resulted in that pick. But then the Philadelphia defense got an interception and swung the momentum back in their favor.
That's what you call being thrown into the fire.
Yeah. Sauk throw is Rob Milanese, who caught the touchdown that led to the tie score. Across midfield with a 7-yard gain. It'll set up second down and short for Philadelphia. Again,
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I was just going to say, just reiterating the playoff picture here. Philadelphia 5-5, Chicago 4-6, 6 games to go. Bubble teams, they need the win.
Yeah, it's not a do or die situation, right, but it is rather dire.
Yeah. Second down. Sauk throws over the top of Milanese. He got a couple of fingers on it, but that was it. And a late flag has come in.
I like Matt Sauk's release. He throws a hot football, and it comes out in a hurry. Started one game earlier this year.
Illegal defense. Number 55 with an outside twist. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Curtis Eason for Chicago tagged there. And don't forget, coming up next, Champ Car Racing back, the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, one of the biggest races of the season. For the Champ Cars, Sebastian Bourdais, the 2-time series champ, tries to kickstart his quest for a 3rd title. And that's next, Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach on NBC after football. Penalty yards give Philadelphia a first down. Matt Sauk throws. It is Steve Smith, the offensive specialist, who's had kind of a quiet day. And he gets the catch here for some short yardage.
Yeah, just a check down guy on the backside. And you notice Matt Sauk is not getting hit as much as Tony Graziani was earlier on. And I think that's due to his quick release. He gets rid of that football in a hurry, brings it right back by the ear, and zip, it's out of there.
Matt Sauk, 30 years old, played his college ball at Utah State. 6'1", 225, pretty good size for a quarterback in this league. Here's Sean Scott looking for the goal line. And dragged down short. Jeremy Nerdle is one of the Chicago players wrapped around his feet, as is Dennison Robinson, number 21.
Again, the strong arm by Sauk. Watch him. His body is going to be set up to throw down the middle. He's open, but yet he's still got the arm strength to get it out there on a rope to Sean Scott in a hurry.
Did that get tipped again? Because it came out. It was kind of...
I don't know. He's got kind of a weird ball. You know, sometimes he throws a little bit of a knuckle ball.
It had a little bit of a wounded wobble to it there. Like it maybe someone in the defensive line had put a finger to it.
It's possible. He gets it there in a hurry, I'll tell you that.
First and goal. Handoff to Wes Owers, the fullback. Touchdown, Philadelphia.
What a nice drive by the Philadelphia Soul. Matt Sauk came in and did what he has been hired to do, and that's take care of business when his number's called. And they did that, driving down the field, throwing pinpoint passes. Then they turn it over to the running game, and Wes Hours plunges in for his second score of the day.
And the 4th running touchdown of the day for Philadelphia. Very effective with their running game. And now a huge point after try for Todd France, the kicker. Because remember, Chicago does get the ball. And he punched it through.
Never a doubt on that one.
So Philadelphia, with a nice drive down the field, takes the lead by 7, and then puts all the pressure now on the Chicago offense to protect the ball, pick up first downs.
Well, they're going to have to get a touchdown, and then they're going to go for 2, Alan. So this game is going to come down to the final play once again for the Chicago Rush.
Now, the go for 2 is your opinion of what Mike Hohenstein's thinking is being on the road in overtime.
Well, the problem is you know,
because
if he kicks it, it goes to sudden death then. And so then, you know, you're relying on your defense, which is something you don't want to have to do, particularly in overtime.
Yep. Mike Hohenstein trying to pick up his 100th head coaching win in the AFL. Already 3rd all-time in victories. What a milestone.
Yeah, you know, it means that he's been around quite a while.
Yeah.
In fact, the entire history of the league, Mike Hohenstein has been involved in the league as a player or a coach for the entire 20 years of existence.
His team has been plagued by injuries for most of the middle part of its season. They came into this game today having lost 4 of their last 5. Got a couple of big players back from injured reserve today. John Moyer, DJ Blythe. Had some big momentum-changing plays on special teams. A kick return for a touchdown, a missed field goal return for a touchdown. And Carlos Wright with a chance for a kick return here. Got room. And a nice shoestring tackle by 31, Raheem Orr for Philadelphia. Wright was about a half a step away from taking that one to the house.
He sure was. He changed speeds. And
taking that one to the house.
He sure was. He changed speeds, and then he hit that seam right there. And if Raheem Orr wasn't able to get the shoelaces, we might have been looking at the 2-point conversion, do or die.
Yep. So Chicago will take over at the Philadelphia 16-yard line. Their quarterback, Matt DeRazio, 20 of 31 today, 240 yards, 4 touchdown passes against 2 interceptions. An interception here, and the ball game's over because Chicago's now had its possession. DeRazio throws. Johnson trying to get away. And hanging on to the shirt tails is Reggie Doster, but Johnson into Philadelphia territory, rather, down to the 15.
Big 19-yard pickup on that, just a check down route. DeRazio got it out quick, and they're picking on Reggie Doster on the backside here with Johnson, and Johnson almost breaks this tackle, brings her into the end zone. Doster just got a hold of the shirt tail there to bring him down.
What happened to the old tearaway jerseys, right?
Yeah, when you need them.
1st and 10 from the Philadelphia 15 from Matt DeRazio, the Chicago quarterback. Flag there, that'll be on Philadelphia. DeRazio to tuck it and run, he's got room. And he's going to be down inside the 5-yard line. And another late flag comes in after the end of the play.
That's what DeRazio does quite well. We haven't seen much of it today, but he's the league's leading rusher coming in today, and that's how he does it, with the little scrambles there, and then makes nice decisions out in the open fields. Scrambled for 13 there. Let's see what the multiple fouls are.
Now, the first penalty is going to be on Philadelphia. The linebacker was moving forward at the snap. We'll have to check the second penalty.
Illegal formation on the defense. Moving forward prior to the snap. The penalty is declined. Results of the play, first down.
All right, they picked up the second flag and waved it off.
That linebacker, Chad Dukes, see him right here. He's going to get the early start. The MAC linebacker has to be stationary at the snap. Can't move into what they call the second neutral zone.
So ball at the 2.5-yard line. 1st and goal for Chicago. Bob McMillan, the fullback, with the handoff. And he is stopped, but he's at the 1-yard line.
Mike Hohenstein's is the master at coming up with trick plays down in this area of the field. And, you know, the thing he's got to consider is he needs his touchdown, but he also needs to save a little something for that 2-point conversion, because that's what he'll go for to win this ball game if they do punch it in.
So it's 2nd and goal from the 1. McMillan is the fullback, 44. Go! Johnson in motion. Durazio, the quarterback, stood up, still trying. Nothing. 3rd down.
And Brett Muncie's out there coaching on the sideline on the opposite side from Mike Hohensee, and he's got his defense going. He's cheering them on, going crazy over there. He's got that look in his eye.
Nice push by the Philadelphia defensive front here.
Yeah, Ernest Allen right there in the middle. He's the guy who really kind of blocked that thing up.
In overtime here in Philadelphia, Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach is next right after football. It is 3rd down and goal from the 1. New quarterback for Chicago. Michael Bishop is into the game. He tries for the sneak. They're checking the spot.
He got it.
Touchdown, Chicago.
They put in a whole new package for Michael Bishop down here in this area. That's what they've got him here for. You saw Mike Hohensee hold up the 2 fingers. They're going for 2. The question would be, will it be Bishop or Durazio?
That's a great question.
Looks like they're talking. Hohensee's talking to Matt Durazio down on the sideline. You see the good push from Bishop. Definitely got that thing across the plane, but it's Durazio who will do it all right here, right now. Game on the line.
2-point conversion try for Chicago. It succeeds, they win. It fails, they lose. Philadelphia gets the win.
Here's Molden.
Durazio to throw. Scrambling. Intercepted! Intercepted by Eddie Moulton. He's going to take it back the other way. Philadelphia wins.
Boy, and Durazio might have been able to run it in. He threw back against the body late in the down. The #1 Cardinal sin of a quarterback, and Eddie Moulton was waiting right there for it.
3rd interception of the day for Philadelphia. Matt Durazio only had thrown 3 interceptions the entire season. But Eddie Moulton steps in front of the Durazio pass and picks it off in the end zone on the 2-point conversion try and secures the victory for the Philadelphia Soul.
Boy, Matt Durazio's not going to sleep well for a couple days after this one.
Oh, no.
Eddie Moulton's going to sleep like a baby. Here he is. Watch Durazio. Nothing there initially. Good coverage. Now he rolls out to his right. I don't know. It looked to me like he still had a little bit of room to take it down the field. Decided to throw across the body. Moulton steps in front and makes the play of the day.
Durazio ran it a lot early in the season. Didn't hesitate to pull the ball down and run, but it's something that his coaches have been working with him on is not being so quick to scramble. In this case, we'll never know.
You know what, Chad Dukes had a little bit of an angle. I don't think it was a bad call, but maybe you hold on a little bit. But there's the raw exuberance and excitement of a rookie head coach getting a critical win.
And Mike Hohensee with the opposite reaction. He's wide open, he said.
Wide open. You know, and Atu Molden was open.
Well, Otis is down on the field with the winning coach.
Coach Muncie, as soon as that last pass was picked off, there was an explosion on this sideline. Talk about the emotional efforts that went into this game.
I tell you what, guys, I'm just proud of this group because there's been a little question whether they played 4 quarters hard. And I think we proved to ourselves today that we've got a team that will fight. Okay, we've just been through some ups and downs, and that's part of learning each other. But, guys, I'm just proud of it. I think this is a great game for the league and a great day for Philadelphia.
You talked about the pressure of playing for Ron Jaworski, John Bon Jovi. Just moments ago, Jaws came over, gave you a big hug. How'd that feel?
Guys, they want to win, and I understand that. And that's, you know, that's all you can ask for as an owner. Sure, the heat's on every week, but that's the only way you should have it. We come out and work hard every day at practice, and it paid off today.
All right, congratulations, Coach, on a big win. All right, back upstairs to you guys.
Intercepted 2-point conversion in overtime. Philadelphia with a 1-point win, 56-55. Next on NBC Sports, the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. For Otis Livingston and Ray Bentley, I'm Alan Bestwick. What a fantastic ball game. Philadelphia wins. You've been watching the AFL on NBC.
Celebrity Cooking Showdown. NBC Monday, April 17th.
What can you say to get someone to the 9 Health Fair? You can learn a lot about yourself.
Lots of free and low-cost health screenings.
We want you
to live a long and healthy life. The life that's saved could be yours.
Treat your health to the 9 Health Fair, April 22nd through the 30th. Go to 9news.com for times and locations.
Bayer Healthcare Diabetes Care Division, a proud sponsor of 9 Health Fair. The Diabetes Care Division is helping improve the lives of people with diabetes daily.
American Furniture Warehouse brings to you.
Shower your home in sunshine. It's American Furniture Warehouse's spring clearance. Come browse Colorado's large selection of patio furniture during our spring clearance sale going on right now. All you have to do is come over to American Furniture Warehouse with the largest selection in stock.
At American.
Congratulations.